everybody. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday, you all. We're halfway through, honey. We are halfway through. Thank you all so much for tuning in. My apologies. We're 5 minutes behind, but we are here. We are here. Hit the 4 if you all are excited. We're so excited about our special guest, Joshua Carr, the ever so handsome. He's so sweet, you guys. And I am so excited about our discussion we're going to have today. He is here with us backstage. Make sure all mods, please. We welcome all questions. But if you get rowdy in the chat, mama's going to get rowdy right back. All right, that's how that works here. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. I appreciate all of you all in the LLC. Shout out to my mods, to all members, supporters, and all of you that are listening. Whether you're listening here in the Lady Luck Club, the Lady Luck Club with Sweet Tea, or over with Joshua Carr on his channel, I appreciate all of you. And we are here. Are you guys ready? Hit the 4 if you're ready. Hit the 4 Joshua Carr's chat if you're ready. Let's see some 4s flowing. Hit the 4 if you are ready. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you all the ever so great Joshua Carr. How you doing, honey?
I'm blushing already. I'm here to experience the LLC. What's up, everyone?
How you doing? Listen, this is so exciting. And I know it has the series you've done has been absolutely phenomenal. So what I want you to do is introduce yourself. Tell us about you. Tell us what you do. The investigatory series is amazing. Is that something is that your niche? Just give us a scoop. Give us all you got.
Yeah. Hey guys. So if you haven't heard of me, my name's Joshua Carr. I live in Provo, Utah. It's where I grew up. I'm here with my wife and my daughter, and I've been a
Hold on. Your mic is disconnected. Can you all hear him? Yeah. Reconnect your microphone, I think. Bear with us, y'all. He's I think his mic kicked out. It's okay.
You guys hear me now?
Yep. Can you all hear? Hit the 4 if you can hear. Let us know. I know the last thing I heard was that you were living in Utah with your wife and daughter, and then it just kind of went out.
Okay, really quick. So it's already disconnected once on me, but it hasn't actually disconnected. So let me see if I can go to my AirPods for a second to see if it doesn't do that again, because I don't want that to just keep on happening on you guys.
Y'all be patient with us. Listen, technical issues happen. Y'all know it happens with me and my headbuds all the time. But I appreciate you all. Bear with us.
Let's try it one more time. If it kicks out again, I'll go to the worst microphone, and it won't sound as good, but at least it won't kick out. But you guys can hear me, right?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Hey, all I was saying, was basically started doing crazy stuff like Candace, Owens, Tucker Carlson. And so it felt like no one was really talking about this. And so about 6 months ago, I made the decision to kind of come out, talk a little bit about these things on my channel. And that's when I was led to my investigation of Candace Owens.
That's amazing. And so far, you've gotten in 3 fantastic episodes, all of which we've watched. And, tell us about like the journey, the process of getting started with this, because it's a lot of information, so many questions that people have about Candace, from her background to her upbringing to her childhood and all those things. So what was step 1? Take us through the steps of you gathering this information for your series?
Yeah, well, I had to think first what could be different about this series and the other series, because a lot of people have done things kind of like this, and there's so much information out there about Candace Owens. And so I'm thinking, how can I make this different? And how can I not fall into the same trap that Candace Owens has fallen into, where she's making 79 episodes about Erica Kirk? And so I decided, I'm just going to do 3. And what I really want to focus on is her history, to find out what motivates her, to find out. And then I also wanted to prove what fraudulent investigations that she was going through. I wanted to prove to people an example of what she does to people. And then the third one is I wanted to talk about the finances of all of it. And
Okay.
so I kind of decided that from the get-go. And then from there, I reached out to as many people as I could, which led me to other people. And I think the hardest part of it was just having to decide, what am I going to include and what am I not going to include? And so what you saw in my series is me trying to include as much as what hadn't been talked about and disclude stuff that maybe was important, but I felt that other people had kind of done a good job sharing already.
Okay. And so can we ask about the finances just a little bit?
Yeah.
Because I went through some of the tax documents for Blexit. And in that, of course, there is this huge 1.72 million deficit that was spent out primarily on security detail. And then we ended up diving into a wormhole where it took us to Parlor Inc. That was registered under an LLC affiliated with Blexit. So when you go through the finances, what's the general idea? What is some of your thoughts about Candace's spending habits, her financial aptitude, if you will, that you may have discovered in your investigation?
Yeah, it's really clear because of her upbringing that she has this attitude towards money that's like, make tons of money, spend tons of money. She's like not a frugal person in any sense of the word. I also do think, and I was looking through the same Blexit things, I do think that some of this was an attempt to funnel the money to friends to build up her persona in the conservative movement. Because one of the things that I found was she, from the get-go, once she kind of made that turn to when she started, or not started Blexit, but worked in Blexit and then started, what was it, Red Pill Black? Is that what it was called?
Red Pill Black, was it Black Pill Red or something?
Yeah, maybe that.
Red
Maybe
and
that.
Black Pill.
Yeah, but she made a very conscious decision that she wanted to take over the conservative movement. And I think one of the ways she did that early on, like you were saying with Blexit, is she was wanting to funnel this money to as many people as possible to show that she was this kind of big personality. And I think today what you see in her finances is roughly the same thing. I mean, she's making so much money. And from what I hear, she's spending it in some kind of outlandish ways, from security details to houses and other things like that.
So do you think that, the figures that are out there regarding her net worth and along with George is around that $244 million? Or you think it might be even higher now?
Oh, I think combined with George, I think it's more than that.
Wow.
And the reason, I do. I really do think that. Only because of just the massive income that she's bringing in. And like, to her credit, in her business savviness, like her team is pretty small. Like a lot of podcasters, when they make a lot of money, they build these like massive teams with a ton of overhead. But she's told us she only has 5 people working for her. And so I talk about her making $59 million over the last 6 months. I have to imagine she's kept like the vast majority of that and given it to George Farmer to do whatever the heck he does with it, So if it's not, if it's not bigger than 240 million right now, it will be like very soon if she continues this grift.
Wow. So God, you think this grift just it would just wear itself out. Oh man, the $59 million now from the series and what we gathered, you were very careful with the revenue that you calculated, saying that this was on the lowest end. So if 59 theoretically is the lowest end, what do you think might be the higher end here? I mean, how lucrative were we talking?
Well, that's a good question. Let me just pull out my phone to do the math on that, and I'll do the math with you guys just to show you. I'm telling you. So I talked about CPM deals, right? And this is really standard in the industry. This is like not at all crazy. I've done deals like this for my show. I've seen many people do this. I think on the high end would maybe be $80 per 1,000 views. And so I think on my, do you remember the exact number of views? Does anyone remember exactly how many views a day she was getting? It was like 2.2 million, maybe.
I think it was more like 2.1. I want to
2.1.
say
Okay.
2.1. Just roughly estimate.
So let's say it's 2.1. Multiply that by 80, we'll say, times
Okay.
4, because 4 sponsorships. That would come
Okay.
out to $672,000 a day. Over
Jesus.
6 months, that would be $120 million. So I think that would be too high,
Ooh.
but that would be the absolute ceiling for what she could do.
Yeah.
I think my number was probably a little more accurate, but it could be somewhere between the 60 million to 120 million mark. I mean, it's really that much. And I saw a lot of criticism online, actually. I was looking on X, and some
Mm-hmm.
people are coming out and they're saying there's no way that these companies have this amount of money for their customer acquisition. And I really disagree with that. I think a lot of people don't
Right. You'd
understand
be
just
surprised.
how much
Yeah.
money these companies spend on
Right.
podcasters. I think if you add up 20 companies, you can easily get to that 60 or 80 million dollar
Exactly.
figure.
Exactly. And what they're doing is cutting down overhead on advertisement.
Yeah.
Their campaign and PR strategy is more so outsourced. It wouldn't be any different if they hired her as a contractor. I mean,
Yeah.
they're saying, hey, we're going to give you money. You have a very large platform, a very large outreach when it comes to, your shows and your merch and all these things. So why not just outsource this PR campaign out to the largest, most controversial podcasters out here on earth and let them do the hard part for us.
Yeah.
And then, we just sit back and let the money come flowing in, because she can just command people to buy stuff and they do it. So
Yeah,
it's
well, and a lot of people too, they're like, well, why would a company want to associate themselves with someone as controversial as Candace Owens? But the thing is, when
yeah.
you have personalities like Candace Owens, their
Hmm.
fans are culty. And so when
Yes.
Candace comes out and says, look, I endorse this product, you want this product, people buy at a much higher rate with those people than they would for I don't know, like a random podcaster talking about sports or something like that, you know?
Right, right. And in the controversy that comes with them, it makes for good content. So,
Yeah.
you think about it, people watching, people are talking about her. Candace, we talking about you, girl. And so people are paying attention and
Yeah.
these sponsors are just soaking it in. But at some point, like most cults, they get tired of the redundancy. Um,
Yeah.
so what do you think is gonna be her next direction, I guess, because at some point she's gonna keep milking this Erica Kirk series. We saw Mitch Snow come back out. I think she might try to resurrect one of those Fort Huachuca episodes back out again,
Yeah.
since he's out here, he's out here
Exactly.
making a name. But what do you think is gonna be after this?
That's a really good question. Two thoughts that I have. I mean, the first one, a lot of people have asked, like, why are so many people duped by Candace Owens? I think the answer is
Right.
that at its core, people love stories. Like
Mm-hmm.
everyone, that's, I think, one thing that all of us have in common is that a good story pulls us in. And
Yeah.
so I think Candace Owens knows this. And I think that she's going to come up with something that is
Yeah.
just a good story, which is what this is right now, right? Like this crazy
Mhm.
conspiracy of taking out one of the most successful political commentators of all time. It's a good story
Mhm.
to tell. It's interesting. Obviously, it will get old, so she'll have to find another story. The other thing, though, and I talked about this in my first episode of my series, is I do think
Mhm.
she is going to resurrect what she was trying to do with TPUSA with a
Mhm.
competitor. And she's got the
Okay.
money to do it. And so I think
Right.
she is going to create some sort of counter in some
Mhm.
form. I'm not sure how, what I'm not sure about is will it be more political or more activism? And what I mean by that is like, will it form a new pack to maybe support candidates that she likes? Or is it going to be more like a student organization? I'm not quite sure yet, but I think it's going to be one of those two.
Well, I mean, considering the fact that she's so dead set on just public relations more than anything, I think it's more of an image. I don't
Yeah.
think she's really got a goal in mind of whether she wants this to be more politically based or spiritual based or, based on activism or because she could care. The way she describes some of these kids, she called them. What did she call you all in the chat? She said rich. spoiled brats or something like that. Like, this is how she refers to college kids. Saying
Right.
most of them like rich spoiled brats anyway. And she has this whole hang up when it comes to college students and the aspect of college life, because she dropped out. And even though she said later on that she has 2 degrees, to which we have not seen, Candace. We're waiting for you to produce that evidence, girl. So this is what she does. If for anything, she'll do it for the controversy of it all. Because you gotta outdo your next grift. Your
Yeah.
next grift can't be more boring than the last one. So you gotta
Yeah.
outdo yourself every time. And then at some point, she's gonna outdo herself, and she's not gonna be able to recover from it. And so, I guess my next question would be, with all of these people that are out here supporting her, and let's start with some of the bigger names here. Like Megyn Kelly and Tucker Carlson. Lord, child, I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't even watch them like that. But what is the deal? What is Megyn Kelly's deal? What Brandon Tatum? Why are they so afraid to just hold her accountable, say her name, and say what needs to be said? What's the deal with that?
Yeah, I know it gets redundant to talk about, but I just think it does come down to the money, because I've talked about this on my show a lot. If you look at like the voting base in terms of politics, the amount of people who support Megyn Kelly and Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens are very few. It's actually really small, but these people are like chronically online. And so they do spend, they're a huge group of people that fund all of these podcasters because they spend so much time watching them. And so I think someone like Brandon Tatum, and Megyn Kelly, I don't know if they agree with everything, obviously, but I just think they're like, I want to stay silent, because that's a really online group of people that I would really love to keep watching my show. And, if they lose 20, 30%, again, because their overhead is so high, if they lose 20% of their audience, it could be tighter than, a lot of people would think. I don't know if you saw this. This was like from a few months ago, but Tim Pool came out.
Yeah.
And Tim Pool, yeah, and he's awesome. But he came out, he said something really surprising that I hadn't heard of, and I thought maybe your audience might be interested in this. He basically said that his views had gone down, and he was actually getting like dangerously close to not being able to continue the show because just his costs were so high. And that kind of opened my eyes to like, whoa, there are some really famous political commentators out there who may be a little more on the financial edge than we realize. I think that could be true for people like Megyn Kelly, even. Like, she's looking at this. She has the data in front of her. These people have the data, and they can see a huge percentage of my audience watches Candace Owens. If I lose them, I might not make it because my team is so big. I think that's the calculus for a lot of them.
And the sad part is that, I call them the candy asses, the cult members, but they come over and they watch. And I think that the viewership for me, when you put that to the side, it allows you to remain free in your speech. It allows you to remain free in your commentary. I'm not trying to get her audience, but they come over and watch either way because they still want to know what you're saying. And, of course, some of the ones that take it back, and, Candace watches and she steals my expressions. Candace, you're still bad at this. And, it's like the more they try to do that, the more they hurt themselves. Because if that's what if they're looking at, I have to keep this audience, and you share an audience with Candace, you're almost sucking yourself into this cult-like mentality, because you can't say anything against her now because your audience is based on your, allegiance and loyalty to her, when it should be based on the content you put out. But that's what puts them in that danger zone. And until they start recognizing, like, listen, I can either have my own audience and have, there are over 1 billion users on YouTube plus around worldwide. 1 billion people, you can't just go get another group of 5 million. Like, you're gonna have to at some point break away from this and say, we can't do this. And so, that gets to, the aspect of this cult mentality. Like, what do you think is going to take for some of these cult members? Not that I'm trying to convince them, because I'm not. They know I'm not. But what do you think is going to take for some of these cult members to really wake up and just say, this is not the way to go here? I mean, some people are going to jail because they're listening to Candace Owens and they see her as this inspiration to go out and, send death threats. Like,
Yeah.
what is it going to really take for some of these people to just kind of break from this cult mentality?
Yeah, some of those people obviously won't be persuaded, and it is what it is. But I do think there is a small percentage that can be changed. And honestly, I hate to say this, but part of the reason why I believe that is because I interact with people like face to face in real life who say things to me that I'm like, oh wow, like they think Candace Owens is legit, And I know they're a good person, I know they're smart, but they're just not thinking critically. And so I think what it is what you said earlier, which is that because Candace has to keep one-upping herself, eventually it'll essentially divide the wheat from the tares, where you're going to have people who just love the conspiracy and they love that grift and they're going to steer into it. And then you're going to have other people who get freaked out by her going too far and they're going to fall away and be unconvinced. Can you see me? Did you guys lose me? Uh-oh. Chat, I need help. Is it me who's lost or is it her? I'm good. All right. I'm the new host of the LLC, guys. What do you want to talk about? Ask me anything in the chat. I'll keep this going. I got you. Oh no. Now it's like my live stream now. It's okay. Ask me anything. We're going to keep this going. We're not giving up. The Cantifa have come after her. Ruh-roh. The Josh Carr show has begun. It's true. Oh, we might be getting her back. Here we go. Any questions for me? Since I didn't have anything planned. I was just here to react to what she was asking me. So have I looked into Parler? I have a little bit. It's tricky. I've gotten a lot of sources about Parler, kind of conflicting things that people have been saying. And I obviously didn't want to become Candace Owens where I'm talking about things that just aren't true or I don't know. And so everything I did include in my series with Candace Owens, I really kept like, these things are very sure. And if they weren't sure, I said it in the series. I said, like, this is just speculation. I think it's a strong speculation, but it's just speculation. When it came to Parler, there wasn't enough that I could find that was concrete for me to feel like I could come out on camera and say something. That's kind of my style. Yeah, so I'll tell you a little bit more about that. This person said, I was really glad you brought up the effects Candace had on the guys she doxed. So one of those guys reached out to me and he lives close to me, but I'd never met him before. And he just told me a story. And being, again, so for those of you who don't know, I live about 3 minutes away from where Charlie Kirk was assassinated. And so hearing his story just impacted me in like a more personal way where I realized that this is having real effect on people. And I just felt like I had to share that story from him so that people understood like this is very, very real. Yeah, I'll keep going. Don't worry. What do you think will happen with her kids? Do you mean Candace Owens' kids or do you mean Erica Kirk's kids? Because I have opinions on both. Can you give a little of the basics of what others told you of their experience? Like a summary they had in common of, sorry, I need like more clarification on some of these questions. Both. I'll answer both for the kids. Yeah. So Erica Kirk's kids, I feel really protective over in a way. I've never met them. I've never met Erica Kirk, but as I talked about on my show a few times, I am the son of a widow. My dad died when I was a teenager in an accident, not murdered like Charlie Kirk, but in a very sudden, violent way as well. And so I think from the perspective of a kid a lot. And I'm protective of Erica because I'm protective of my mom, but I'm also protective of her kids because I know how I was. I know how my younger siblings were. I had a brother was 14 when my dad died, and my sister was 9. And so I know how difficult that can be. And I think when my dad died, tragically, there was news. It was on the news. There were newspapers about it. And that is nothing compared to what Candace Owens has done. But just that alone was difficult for me to see the media talk about it. And so I think about these kids growing up. I think about how they're going to be affected by all of this drama that has been manufactured by Candace Owens. And I really feel for them. I don't know what Erica's going to do, but I really hope she keeps them away from the internet and then, really like trains them to be prepared for that, because even if they don't grow up for another, 8-10 years, like it's still going to be really hard on them when they do. And then for Candace Owens kids, dude, I don't even think they know their mom. I really don't, because there are 4 of them, supposedly. We haven't even seen 2 of them before, which is fine. Like people can keep their kids, private, but like she works a lot. She makes a lot of money. That takes a lot of time. She doesn't even realize that 3-year-olds wake up in the middle of the night. So I'm assuming they are with a nanny the whole time. I really doubt they know their mom. I think they're going to grow up and probably realize that she's bat bleep crazy. I'm a Mormon boy in Utah, so I don't swear. Sorry. All right, I'll keep looking through these questions. Yeah, the question was, what about these other people I talked to about the treatment that Candace Owens gave them? The general thing was people would reach out to people who were very close with her. Some people who used to work for her and like knew her personally and even knew her family personally. And the same story was, we're too terrified to talk. We will not talk to you because we think that you're going to publish our conversation. And I'd say, look, we can go off the record. I just want to ask some questions. And they would schedule something with me, and then they would fall away and they would ghost me. And some of these people, I'd go through like 3 different schedules with them. Like I'd have something set up and then they ghost me. And the feeling every time was Candace will do anything to try to discredit the people who are attacking her. And they will say things that will get us fired. They'll say things that will get our family to hate us, call us, pedophiles, and even worse. Things that, of course, she's done to Erica Kirk. Like if she'll do it to Erica Kirk, she'll do it to anyone. That was the problem that she was dealing with. Hey, we're back.
I know, right? I'm just listening, honey. Keep going.
Awesome. I'm trying to see if there are any other questions.
I'm trying. Listen, I'm trying to thank you all so much. I am so sorry. I don't know what happened. I had to reboot my entire laptop. It's time for a new laptop. Somebody said the black eye. Oh my God! Did you see George's photo of this black eye in the airport?
Yeah, I'm a little less familiar with it though. Like I've seen it, but I haven't like looked into it a ton.
It's
so you tell me.
Unbelievable. I saw the post. It was on X. And there were a few photos. These are real photos. She took a photo with an airport employee. And behind her is George with his right eye blackened, starting from the nasal area all the way down and around.
Oh boy.
And I'm like, what's going on? Why does he have a black eye?
Someone said in the chat, but Candace had a broken leg, right?
She had a broken foot. Yes. She claims she broke her foot on the 13th. Candace, something about that Friday the 13th and something else, ain't it, girl?
So either they attacked each other,
black guy,
or maybe it was a male prostitute that George Farmer had over, and he's the one who did it. One of the two. Either way.
This is what happens when you party hard with Andrew Tate. Bad things.
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh, you're so much fun. Listen here. Listen. What you call it came out the closet, George. And he said, it's time to party hard. Next thing you know, he's got a black eye.
We don't know, no, but we know.
What you doing? We asked Candace, we're just asking questions.
We're just asking
What
questions.
happened to George's eye? And how did you break your foot? She never said how she broke her foot.
So what did
She never
everyone
said
think?
once.
What did you think about Matt Walsh not showing up to that Catholics for Catholics event? I don't know if you
Not
saw
showing
that.
up.
Yeah, well, so
We
he was supposed to be the keynote speaker and then ended up just giving like a 3-minute speech over like it was just a recording that they played, but he was supposed to be there in person. And I thought
I don't blame
maybe
him.
he didn't. Yeah, no, I don't blame him at all, but it was good. I was like, maybe, you know, he obviously wanted to fulfill his commitment, but
Mhm.
not go maybe because I think he was scheduled to go before Candace Owens was invited.
Wow. See, we
So
watched her speech, and I was like, what is she saying? Like, we watched her speak. We didn't watch the whole thing, but we did watch her speech because
yeah,
everybody asked for it. And I was just sitting here like, okay, I'm not Catholic, but you know, her speech was just lost in the wind. It had nothing to do with God or the Bible or Catholicism or anything. I mean, all she did was tell us that she has not been confirmed. But,
hmm
then there was a letter that we read where you have, I think, a journalist of some sort saying, petitioning for her to be excommunicated. I don't know how that process works, but I can definitely see them saying, listen, we're not going to put support behind you when you're trying to represent all Catholics on earth and your behavior with it is so defiled. Is you disobeying the word of God. You talking about, attacking widows. I mean, how many scriptures we put up? At least 2 or 3 good scriptures about why you should not do that and protect widows. And it's like, and you want to talk about Christ as King. It's almost like a mockery. And
it is. Yeah,
I
it's
wouldn't want
taking
to
the
be
Lord's name in
associated with
vain.
them either. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah,
So,
I think I talked about it on my show a little bit. I'm not Catholic either, so I have no like dog in like if
mhm,
she remains a Catholic or not.
right.
But I feel like what she's done is illegal because it's defamation. And
Mhm.
in my
Yep.
church, at least, one of the main ways that you get excommunicated is if you do something illegal. And so I feel like I don't know if that's how the Catholic Church works, but that would be good grounds to do that. If I were Catholic, I would not want her to be representing my church. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because as people are saying in the comments, like the speech was me, I,
Yep.
like hardly any talk of God or Jesus Christ. And
Right.
I don't know, it's just nasty. I guess it's hard for me
Yeah.
because so many people, like I've heard Jeremy Boring come out about this. So many people are saying Candace Owens is
Mhm.
like so talented. And like I've
What?
seen glimpses of that, but like I watch speeches and I'm like, I don't get it. Like I don't really understand why people
Yeah.
are watching her. I don't really think she's genuine or talented, you know?
Not at all. I don't think she's genuine talented or intelligent. I mean, we've seen her when she, did a little speech at the TPUSA UK event,
Yeah.
and she was asked about globalism and nationalism. Her response was something along the lines of, well, I'm more for globalism, or was it national? Which one was it? No reply. She said, I'm one for nationalism. And then she talked about the birth rates of people in the UK. And that was it. It was like, girl, you didn't even try. You could have started with the definition of the word, Candace.
Right.
It was mind numbing. I was like, I can't believe this. This girl is sitting here trying to pass off as some scholar, intellectual, individual that's giving commentary when she can't tell you what globalism versus nationalism means.
Yeah.
And then you bring in birth rates. I mean, what did that have to do with anything? I was sitting here like, did y'all see that? We were watching the video clip, and I was like, did y'all just hear that? That was nonsense. She didn't even try. Yeah, I said, Candace is not smart. She's not smart at all. I have no
No.
problem calling her an idiot when I need to. Oh my God.
Well, and what Caleb's
It
saying
tripped
in the
me out.
chat,
So
what Caleb's saying in the chat is
Caleb said,
absolutely correct. Like some people can do
yep.
the teleprompter thing and they're pretty good at it. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah.
But actually
Hmm.
showing up, talking about an issue, interacting with people, that's a totally different
Right.
game. And by the way, like not
Right.
everyone can do it. And like I'm not good at that stuff either. So it's not even like necessarily a diss on certain people. It's just Candace Owens plays herself up to be this like master of communication, which she's just not.
Yeah, she isn't. And I think, when she gets frustrated, she starts to cuss and cuss profusely. And it's like, girl, go read a book. And not something about Sigmund Freud, because that's gross. But that's what she is. That's what she does. It's like a master manipulator. Let me put up the smoke screen and the mirrors. Her shows are pre-scripted. They're premiered. She's never just live. It's never one of those moments where she's live. And when she is, look what you get. You get an idiot that can't tell you what's the definition of globalism. So, or she talks about Utah time, Lord. And it's, so one of the things that bothered me that, while she sits in Harper's and weaponizes the death of Charlie Kirk, is her failure to actually go to Utah, to the campus.
Yes,
retrace the steps of Tyler Robinson for herself to see how feasible any of her dumb conspiracies are. So what is your thoughts on that? Have you gone to have you gone to the campus?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought this up, because this is one of the things that got me so frustrated about it originally, because like I mentioned earlier, I live right next to UVU. I drive by it every single day. And I grew up like 10 minutes from UVU, and I have so many friends who went there to school. So like, this is like in my backyard. And so I can see in real time when she's doing her episodes, talking about things that just like are not true. Like she's talking about, like, I'll just give you an example of this. She's talking about the Egyptian planes going in and out of Provo Airport. And I'm like, Provo Airport is tiny. It's like a little airstrip. This is not like a big international airport. There are no Egyptian planes there. In my house right now where I live, I can see every plane that flies into Provo Airport.
Are you kidding?
I've never seen an Egyptian plane. And so that's just one example, but it's like, yeah, I've seen where Charlie Kirk was shot. I was there when there were all the memorials happening. I wasn't there at the event, luckily, but it's very frustrating to be someone on the ground and like living here and have people talk about where you live in a way that is just like totally off and screwed up. Yeah.
Wow. Do you think you could go by that airport and take photos?
Yeah.
I would just like to see what it looks like. Please do. Because
I was there like a month ago. Yeah.
Yeah. Can you record or do a video or something to say, hey, here's what Provo's airport looks like? Because I think for some of us, we can see the Google Maps and, but to see visually in real time will help to kind of understand why she's lying.
Yeah.
Because my whole thing is airports have cameras. Like if you're talking about a plane landing somewhere from Egypt, we're going to know what's going on with that plane. We're not letting a plane in our airspace and we have no idea why they're here. They're turning up their transponders, something she would know. She would have to see the FDR, the flight data recorder. She would have to know that this plane was cut off based on the data, something she still could not show. It's like, what?
Right.
It's so dumb. When I say I had more headaches with those episodes, because you're talking about allegations that are based on evidence and data. Planes have those black boxes. Yeah. You're not going to just say something was shut off and you can't show on the data when and how it was shut off. That doesn't work that way. And it's like, this girl has flown in planes before. Is she not? It's at least going to make a sound. Like, what?
Exactly.
Oh, it was so infuriating. So, if you didn't see those blue and yellow planes and these dumb Egyptian planes, I'm going to take your word for it because Candace does not live there. She refuses to go there.
Oh, if she came to be a little more interesting, at least, right? Like, it's not like you would prove it, but it would be good.
I was like, Candace, go to UVU and just retrace the steps of Tyler Robinson and do a live stream. Are you kidding? That will probably want to be one of her highest viewed lives if she would ever just go out there, boots on the ground. She's got nothing but time and money. Girl, if you don't stop being cheap, Just fly out there to UVU and just retrace the steps. Paramount Tactical went out there. I mean, you had a few content creators that went out there and they recorded themselves. They went through the campus. They went where Charlie was sitting. They went up the stairs to the building. I mean, they did all of that. And you would think she would just do that to show that she's truly, genuinely interested in what occurred. No, what does she do? She keeps showing us photos of what happened inside the vehicle with bodily fluids that YouTube. I don't know why YouTube is not flagging her videos. It's ridiculous.
I know. I was thinking the same thing. They must be getting demonetized at least, most of them, but I don't really know.
I would hope so. But if they're not, then there's a problem, because how does her videos get through? And I can't even play a video with 6 seconds of Celine Dion. They're going to cut me off.
Right. No, yeah. I mean, yeah, especially considering like how many views she pulls in. Could be a little corrupt in that way of her being able to get through while people like us can't. But I'll say this, the reason why she's not going to UVU is because anybody who's ever been to UVU can just clearly see, oh, yeah, like it was Tyler Robinson. It's like really easy. Like you're there and you're like, oh, there's where he was. Yeah, that's actually not as far as I thought. And yeah, with a hunting rifle, for sure you could do that. And oh, I can see why this person reacted this way. And I can see where he went after the fact. And like I've driven right by where he stashed his weapon. I live really close to where he stashed his weapon, like really close.
Wow.
And yeah, we were in our home when this was happening. So we like stayed home because we heard there was a shooter on the loose, and it turned out to be very close to my house. But yeah, like when you see it all in person, it's like, oh yeah, all the conspiracies are just kind of BS.
Far-fetched. It's so out of, loop of reality. It's like, girl, there is no way. Just go to the campus. There is no way. All these things you theorizing, the underground tunnels, like I literally put out a dare to some of her supporters. I told the cult members, I said, listen, you all go out there and find those underground tunnels. I will bring you up on my channel and I will play your videos and show your photos of these underground tunnels. I just want to see. I just want to see what happens. No, they all got mad because I'm sitting here saying that if for nothing else, go out there and test these dumb conspiracy theories and see what you come up with. At least go out there and test the theories. So,
yeah,
it's madness. So when you guys heard in your neighborhood that, there's a person that's just committed this crime, this just happened, what was, I guess, the sense? What was the feeling everyone around? I'm sure it was a little chaotic, but just describe what was going on and what was the feel of what was happening in your community.
Yeah, it was really somber. We so September 10th, and so it was warm here, and so there are a lot of people out and about, and a lot of people. So in Utah, obviously, most of us are members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. We're very close in terms of our congregations, and so my neighborhood is my congregation, and I would say about half of the people living in my neighborhood go to church regularly, and so we have group chats with each other. Like we know each other very well, and so a lot of, especially the youth in our congregation, were at the Charlie Kirk event, and so we're all just. I mean, I was getting hundreds of texts coming in of people like, "How do we get so and so back home? How do we what is going on? Have there been other casualties?" And so it's just a lot of frantic feelings. But what was really scary was at night, I took my dog on a walk. And with my wife and my baby, and because everything had settled down and we all knew that the shooter was still at large, but I think we kind of had it confirmed by then that he was probably on the freeway on the run, which he was. And we went on a walk, and like I said, very nice day. I think it was in like the 80s, like low 80s. And we're out on a walk and nobody's outside. And it felt like I've never felt this in my life. It literally felt like, even though it was sunny out, it was like a dark cloud over our community, and you could feel like the heaviness. And for a few days after, everyone would kind of look at each other like, I don't know. I'd never had that happen in my community. Like, there's just not a lot of crime in Utah. And so it was really heavy for a long time. And I think everyone had this sense of fear for what could happen. I had a lot of people who are very fearful for my life, since I work in in political commentary. And a lot of people who just generally felt like they weren't as safe as they thought they were. Because honestly, everyone in Utah like loved Charlie Kirk and all felt like he was, a good Christian man. And so it felt
Yeah.
like if any Christian could get targeted, then so could we.
Wow. Wow. So the next day, was there an extra security presence at the campus? Around, just kind of patrolling the streets? What was that like the next day?
Yeah, there were National Guardsmen out, which is
Okay.
obviously a pretty like stark sight because again, we don't have crime and they're usually in military garb, and so that was kind of surprising.
Yeah.
The street right by UVU is where I drive every day, and there were all kinds of Charlie Kirk like posters and memorials just all up along the streets, and that
Okay.
was pretty crazy. And I would say it took about a week for everything to kind of settle down and go back to normal. And really, like I can say this confidently from my perspective and everybody there, I don't think anybody had a sense of this is going to continue on into mounds of conspiracies and
Yeah.
questions. Like
It's
for us in
crazy.
our community, all of us are thinking it was a leftist who hated Charlie Kirk and they came and took his life, which is exactly what happened. And so
Right.
I think all of us were quite surprised to see what came out.
And did you all experience any unusual traffic from all of these candy cultists, conspiracy theories coming out trying to prove or disprove her nonsense? Did you all end up having, that kind of influx come in?
That's a good question. I didn't notice it. A lot of people don't know this,
Hmm.
but UVU is the largest university in Utah, just
Okay.
by in terms of population of students, and I think there's like 35,000 students there, and
Oh
so
wow.
yeah, so it's big. And so I guess what I'm trying to say is like if people did go to UVU to like stake it out, it's just so
Hmm.
busy, it probably would have kind of blended in. So I didn't notice it, but I'm sure
Wow.
they were there.
Man, and then that's the scariest part was that when she talked about this fort and then there was a hotel that she doxed, because that's what she does. God. People showed up at this hotel and they were wondering, oh, well, where did Erica Kirk stay here? And then, when did Mitch Snow see her in this whole, and it put the employees at risk and on edge and all these things. So we all know she doesn't care about the impact and the consequences of her
Yeah.
nonsense when people are
Well,
being doxxed and stuff. So what is that like when okay, she's doxing people that live down the street, around the corner, at this house and this house and this house? You know, what is that like, and what are you guys doing to try to combat that? Because that is out of control.
yeah, well, two things that came to mind. The first is the hospital that Charlie Kirk was taken to is the hospital that my
Right.
daughter was born at, and it was the
Oh
hospital that
wow.
I went to growing up. Like my pediatrician was there, so I do know that there were a lot of Candace Owens fans like trying to infiltrate that
What?
hospital. Yeah, and there was a lot of conspiracies from Candace and other people coming out talking about the hospital, talking about how there were evil people there and stuff. And that was another instance of me
God.
just being like, dude, like I've been to that hospital like hundreds of times. And just in April, my daughter's almost a year old now. Like, so that was like
Wow.
3 or 4 months before, I guess 4 months before he was assassinated. Like I had been there in the delivery room, you know
Right.
what I mean? Like been there for days with my wife and daughter. So to hear these things about the healthcare providers there, I was just like, this just is not
This
true.
is terrible.
Yeah. And then the other thing, of course, I brought up Robbie on my show and his
Mhm.
story, and he lives pretty close to me in Orem. And
Okay.
yeah, he was telling me this crazy story. I don't know if I said this on the show, but he told me the story where he had to leave his house. And I don't think this would be bad if I shared it. I think it's okay. But he had to leave his
Okay.
house because he was doxxed, and he was gone for over a
Wow.
month. And so he decided to go live with his girlfriend's parents, allowed him to go stay with them. And so he was staying in their basement. And when he would come and go, he would like put on a mask and just kind of keep his head down, and leave because people were looking for him. And one night he was in the basement, and I think they're going to get married. So now in-laws, maybe not, but his
Okay.
girlfriend's parents came to
Uh-huh.
him and said, "Hey, Robbie, we just want to let you know we were just outside talking to our neighbors, and our neighbors were talking to us about you and saying that they were keeping an eye out for you because Candace Owens on her show talked about you and said that you live in Orem and they don't realize that you're staying with us. So
no.
that is freaky when you've got, like, that's Orwellian stuff when you've got neighbors searching for you and Robbie's sitting here like, I didn't do anything. Like I was literally just at the event and you've made this up about me and now my neighbors are trying to search for me. That freaked me out. I mean, I really feel for him. That's hard.
My God. How many more people? I don't know if I can ask this. How many more people, or if you can't answer, if not, I understand. How many more people do you know that you've come across, especially during your series, where they were doxxed and they've had to uproot life and being put in danger?
Yeah, I know of 3 others who had to leave, but those people like had family members that had to leave because of it too. So like the other person that I talked about, who was Robbie's friend, Shaner, like he had to leave his house, and I think he had to take like his whole family with him because even though like the people weren't necessarily searching for his family, they would look for anybody who could get any information on him, right? And so just a couple people being doxxed by Candace led to like multiple full families being upended and having to go stay with families. And Robbie was saying to me that like most of these people left their homes for like a month or 2. That's a really long time.
Oh my God. So what do they do for work and all these things? Like 2 months? Imagine
I don't know. I mean, well, I know
Rob 2 months with your wife and baby. Like that's insane.
I know that they specifically were students at BYU, and BYU is where I went to school. And so I'm not sure if, I don't know if the BYU students were like better about that or not, but I would have to think if they were going to school, they had to keep their heads down pretty low. Cause you have to think that like there was at least some Candace Owens viewers, you know, in college who are stupid and looking for them. So yeah, I mean, that would have been really crazy.
And I mean, what was the gain out of this? Like these people aren't profiting from saying, hey, I know where this person is. They're over here with their mom. Like what? You're not getting a reward for finding these people. So what is the gain out of that?
That's a really good question. And I thought about that a lot. And I think it comes down to that cult mentality that happens in the audience, which is that Candace Owens has created this kind of persona of, I'm going to be an investigative journalist. I'm going to be the savior of this case, the one that finds out what really happened to Charlie Kirk. And so she tells her audience, hey, you're just fellow disciples and I need your help. This is a righteous cause. And so go out and do this. And then I think trying to get into their heads, they're thinking, I'm going to be the hero. Candace Owens is going to know who I am and talk to me on the phone. And we got to talk about, you know, maybe she'll even have me on the show or something like that. You know what I mean? So I think that was probably the justification for a lot of these people. But it's like, why does if you look at the activists in the world, most activists are kind of young, like they're college age kids. So it's like, why does anybody do this? I think it's all stupid, but I think there is something in us when we're young, like my age or even maybe a little younger. I'm starting to become a little smarter where people are like, I have to go out and do something big. You know, I have to go out and make my mark. And I think a lot of younger people who watch Candace Owens were probably that way.
And the worst part is that, you know, even if they were to come to her to say, hey, you know, I found so-and-so and I sent you this so-and-so in your hot tip line or whatever. And, you know, so can you please do this and this for me? If it came down to it, she would just tell them no. She would not give them anything in return. There's nothing to gain out of this. She's not giving you any money because Lord knows I've been waiting on this $7,000 check that Israel's supposed to be sending me.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Dude, honestly, like I'd be worth like at least $1 million by now if it was per post. Right? Like, I don't know. Well, and what's so funny too, can I just say, because I have to rant about this for a second because I'm so sick of this. Like, I'll like come out with this, like an episode where I talk about how like Candace Owens is crazy because she said that Charlie Kirk was a time traveler. And I get like 4 comments. It's like $7,000. I'm like, I didn't even mention Israel. Like, what are you talking about? This had nothing to do with that. So it's like they say it about everything now that they like disagree with. I don't know. It's weird.
Oh, honey, I don't even know. You know what I do? I tell them, I say, you know what? Why don't y'all pay me the money up front? Send me all the supers, send me some cash apps. Boy, what are those candy followers when you need them? When you sitting here like,
That's right.
wow, rent is due. And they sitting here paying all her bills. Yeah, y'all hit my cash app up, give me some supers, and then I'll send Candace an invoice, and then she can pay me back. Like
I like
I just
that.
go into it. Like I don't even try to sit here and I've said this a few times to like Jay Witt and Artie Trolls and stuff. Like y'all listen, stop trying to convince these people that you're not getting $7,000. Just make them pay you the money, and then they can go
Yeah.
and get it from Benjamin Netanyahu and get reimbursed.
I
That works
completely agree.
out.
I completely agree.
Like,
I
give me the
usually
money.
my response is actually my fee is 8,000 really. And I
Right.
think that's the right mentality. Like these people are not serious, so they do not deserve
Exactly.
a serious response. Yeah.
Not at all. Like, as a matter of fact, I'm like, why 7,000? Make it 10. What are we doing? Y'all lowball. So you're just gonna lowball Lady Luck Club is what you're doing. How dare you lowball the Queen of YouTube? I want $20,000. There, you guys will just go for the gold. Just go for the gold. You can't make this.
I feel like if I'm gonna commit treason, $7,000 is not enough. You know what I mean?
It's not.
It's gotta be at least like $1 million before I commit treason. So if they start commenting $1 million, then like that would maybe make more sense.
Okay, and I'm sitting here like, who has gotten paid this $7,000?
It's never
I'm waiting on the list, this list of people, because they get money like this, and I'm like, Candace, meanwhile, has made 59 million on lying, so I don't feel bad for 7,000. I really don't. Give me the money or whatever. But
well,
I was gonna ask you when it
Oh, yeah.
comes to the doxing scenario, just to kind of, because it enrages me when that happens, right? It's a cybercrime. You're talking about not being able to live in peace. Are they planning on taking any legal action with this? Because they would be within their rights to do so and file a report to the FBI.
Yeah, I have to go in about 5 minutes. So any
Okay,
last
go ahead.
questions, I'll wrap it up. But that's a good question.
Okay. Okay.
I'll say this. I cannot speak to any specific legal actions against Candace Owens.
Okay.
And the reason why I can't speak to them is because people have talked to me about them.
Okay.
And multiple people, not just one. So I guess the answer is yes, but that's all I can say. And I will say, and I guess I will actually clarify one thing on that. And that is that the reason why I'm not going to say anymore is because it would potentially make litigation less successful against her. And I want it to be as successful as possible.
And so do I. So, Candace, get ready. You got court coming up April 28th with the Macrones. So what can we say? Last question. What can we say and do to get you to do one more episode? I mean, do I have to get the baby to say, Daddy, please? Can we get one 10-15 minute conclusion episode that just closes it all out? Just one more.
I mean, if you look at my channel, like I've done a lot of episodes about her, so it's not like I'm never gonna talk about her ever again. I for sure will. But deep dives into who she is, I have one source that has gotten back to me that maybe I will do something on, but I will not probably phrase it as episode 4. And I talked about it in the last episode just because I don't want to like become Candace Owens in that way. Like, I guess if something comes and I think it's really good and it's something new that no one else has talked about, I'll talk about it. I just don't want anyone to get the impression from me that I am just trying to grift this for as long as possible, because I do get paid to do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and I'm incredibly grateful for that. And so I just don't want anyone to feel like I'm like being the Candace Owens of, the anti-Candace Owens in the same way, I
got you. So listen, you got to come back and then hang out with us and do a reaction with us. If you can tolerate Candace's episode, Sha, because right now I just can't. But you got to come back and hang out with us. And you guys, I want you all to thank Josh Carr so much for coming in and hanging out with us in the LLC. Thank you for answering questions and keeping the chat entertained while I worked out the technical issues. God bless it, honey. Thank you so much for doing this, and this has been absolutely amazing. I hope you all learned something, and make sure you guys check out Joshua Carr show. If I can get one of the mods to drop his YouTube channel link in the chat, please, for me. Make sure you go out, show him some support, subscribe, and like and hype those videos up so we can keep those videos up in the algorithm and bring more awareness to it. And I'll be looking out for that video of that airport, because I seriously want to see what that airport looks like.
Sounds
So please,
good.
yeah, send us the video and let us know, or send me the link, photos, whatever, and I will talk about it, report it. But thank you so much, and I will drop you out. And I appreciate you, honey. God bless you and your family. Okay.
Thank you. God bless you guys. Happy to join you anytime.
All right. Sounds good. Have a good one.
See ya.
Bye. Y'all, that was amazing. Oh, I'm just, listen. I'm so glad, at the very least, he answered the most important question of all. Yes, there is some litigation happening, and I'm good with that. We will not be ruining it. As a matter of fact, to all of those who've been doxxed by Candace, if you ever need Mama's videos for your exhibits, they're all yours. I'm here to help. Who can take down Candace simultaneously? We get it down 4x4. I hope all of them sue her. Thank Joshua Carr, you guys. That was fantastic. I appreciate all of you all so much for tuning in. I have been so excited and anticipating this interview all day. And then for the internet to start acting up, I said, see, the devil is a liar. This is not happening right now, man. And thank goodness he's a content creator, he's an independent journalist, so he has the ability to keep things flowing. So I'm gonna have to watch this on the replay myself just to see what I missed. But the most important things that I wanted to ask, I was able to ask, and I hope you guys were able to get out some great questions. And if there's some questions that you want to ask, let me know. Just, you guys email me. You guys are good with that. He's really sweet, a dear heart. I mean, and welcome to come back to the LLC at any time, along with Milk Bar. Shout out to him. I'm still trying to get back in touch with Gary to see what's going on with that. But you guys, this is just the first of many. And we're gonna have many, many more special guests on and some collabs in the near future, and I'm excited about it. We will not be doing any interview with the Gerald Palmer, so it's all good. We're just gonna move on from it. But yes, you guys, thank you so much. There was a couple videos that I wanted to check out. Actually, let me see here. While you all are here, and while I'm already on screen, Gary getting sued. What? Gary, you got to collab with me, man. I know he's got a lot going on. Thank you so much, S Files. Thank you, all of you guys, for tuning in, and to the mods. I appreciate you all for holding it down. Republic Tea Room says, thank you, Cat, as always, everyone who's still exposing this mess. Oh, God. You thinking Candace Owens, honey? You might be in the wrong chat. Candace, you can kick rocks, and I don't have a problem telling you that, girl. Lord mercy. Who's Palmer? He was one of individuals that were reporting on Umar Johnson going back years back in time. So, but it's all right. It's all good. I agree. Wyoming gal said, "Oh, okay, yeah, I agree. She is exposing herself." Candace, Candace, Lady Luck Club knows something that you don't. I know something you don't know, Candace. And I'm helping anyone that plans on taking her ass to court. George, how's that eye of yours treating you? How's that eye, George? How's that eye? One of you all sent me this video about, and we're going to check this out right now. How Candace Owens manipulates her audience with shocking claims about Brigitte Macron. I have never heard of this content creator, Martin Decoder. Y'all ever heard of him? Let me drop the video link in the chat. You guys email me so much. So when I say it takes a marathon just to get kind of ahead and put a dent in some of the material, we have yet to check out Edie Lowe. I guess we'll do her next. Because Edie did a video. And she's funny. And I want to watch it. So Treehouse News doing a video. Candace acts as if she's the only black woman in
what has happened here. You are right now
that's a conservative, and she's not. So, Candace, you already tried it with Kimberly Klasick. You tried it with Treehouse News. Everybody ain't gonna be okay with that, girl. I know something you don't know, Candace. Oh, girl. I told you doxing is illegal. And whatever comes your way, you deserve it. Stop breaking the damn law, girl. This heifer is only going to learn the hard way, people. I don't feel bad at all. And I still get comments like, you're a black woman and she's a black woman. And why don't you support her because she's black? And blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I don't care if she's black, white, red, blue, green, yellow, purple, orange, or blurpy, or whatever. I don't care if she was of this earth or Mars or Venus. When you decide to come step foot into the United States of America, you are subjected to obey our laws. Period. You don't like it, Candace, you can always go. We'll make sure you ET phone home. You and Grimace. Blurpy. Blurpy. We got a new name for you, Candace. Blurpy. You and Grimace can ET phone home at any time. No one's forcing your alien ass to be here. Oh, yeah, I'll try my best not to cuss with Joshua Carr. He's so sweet. He's such a nice young man. I appreciate you all. Y'all ready to get into this? We gonna check this video out. Because Candace is gonna be catching it for real. I wish Treehouse would also sue her too. You know, because she didn't know how to act then. She been doxing for decades. It's time for you to have to answer to this, Candace. You had people having to uproot their lives. You could have kept their name out of your mouth, heifer. But you wanted to sit here and play bad. Let me tell you something. My neighborhood ain't friendly like that. You ain't gonna have people like that walking around here talking about where's the Lady Luck Club. They gonna be like, shh, what you say? Huh? Because we, license to carry and all. They're going to walk around and they're going to carry that license and that piece. What you say? You looking for who? What you say to me? Nah, you in the wrong neighborhood. You took the wrong turn. You weren't supposed to come down this street. Nah, you belong 45 minutes that way. We don't play that over here. They can come over here if they need to. What's his name, Robbie? Robbie, you come over here, Lady Luck Club. We'll make sure you stay safe, honey. The whole neighborhood got you over here. Child boo. Candace, you ain't that tough, girl. You were not that street savvy at all. You're not. Stop playing them dumb games. Put people out here and now they're gonna clap back the right way. Clap back. So, all right, let's get the supers in right quick. Shout out to Laura. Laura, how you doing? Yo, Laura, I got to call you and see how you doing, girl. Mama's so sorry. How you doing, Laura? Yeah, shout out to Laura. I have some great mods up in here. Laura's also one of the admins here for StreamYard. And she got her membership again. And shout out to Wyoming Gal for the $5 super sticker. Thank you all so much. Thank you, mods, for the support here. I appreciate it. Y'all ready to get to this? Moki ready? Moki said truth. Y'all hit the 4 when you can see and hear. Let's go.
And as a mother, I will stand up to this. I mean, you really are asking people to defy their common sense in this moment, but you are not accurately presenting what has happened here. You are right now defending a government that lied. I'm only interested in truth.
You're going to realize you've been completely duped. What do you do then? This interview between Piers Morgan and Candace Owens is a masterclass, not in truth-seeking, but in how language can be used to avoid it. It's a study in manipulative rhetoric. I'll take a closer look at a few key moments where the wording does the heavy lifting. Not evidence, not verification, but strategic phrasing designed to shape perception. Once you see the pattern, it becomes very hard to unsee. And it starts immediately.
Are you a woman?
I am, in fact, a woman, and I certainly would never
Why is she
sue someone
laughing?
to prove to the world that that is a fact.
Candace, who answers that question by laughing? Are you a woman? Of course I'm a woman. You can't tell? E.T. phone home. I thought, isn't that what you humans do? May the force be with you? No? Oh, is that too soon? Is it this? What am I doing? How should I keep my hands? Like, why you got a nervous laughter when someone asks you, are you a woman? Candace, we don't know if you've given birth. You know, because we're just asking questions.
I would probably be laughing.
This is subtle but important. She's been asked to confirm a fact. Instead, she answers with a hypothetical about behavior. This is what's called a frame shift.
Oh God.
Instead of what is true,
Oh, no.
she moves us to how would an innocent person behave? That's a completely different question. And embedded in that response is an implication. If you do sue, maybe you're hiding something. That's not evidence. That's insinuation through contrast. Then we get the first major pivot.
Well, how can you prove to me you're a woman if I don't believe you?
I wouldn't have to. You could do 18 hours of a show saying that I was living as a man for 30 years. And the easiest thing for me to do, obviously, would be to just release pictures of me living, yearbooks, me on the cheerleading team, me pregnant, me with my children, raising my children. Long before, if I ever got to the point where I thought that I needed to launch a lawsuit, I would probably just release a few photos.
Notice what's happening here. She's replacing a clear, testable standard with something else entirely.
Candace, Candice, Cadence, Karen, Condoleezza, girl, you dumb heifer. They have sent you photos. Lots of photos. Some of which you've never even released. A couple of which is not even in the lawsuit. Because I know things you don't know. This is the crazy part about this. All the photos that she's seen, and she didn't care. That's the difference. It wasn't as if it wasn't convincing. She simply didn't care because it didn't feed into her narrative. You know, that same narrative that Judge Rennie and the jury are going to be sitting down paying very close attention to. Just because you don't like the exhibits, Candice, does not mean that the jury will not find it acceptable. Oh, they're going to find it acceptable. They're going to look at that evidence and say, yep, she's a woman. DNA test, because, you know, they're coming into court with DNA evidence. Yep. All they have to do is have their physician introduce the exhibits as evidence through testimony, and that's pretty much going to do it. Because DNA evidence can determine whether or not you're born a man or a woman. Science, Candace. She who does not believe in dinosaurs, you descendant of Barney. Blurpy is related to Barney the dinosaur. But yet, she wants to just ignore the fact that her ancestors walked the earth. Y'all know Candace is a pterodactyl. Y'all didn't know that? Candace is a whole pterodactyl. I'll take you no reply, honey. I was listening. I was asking about you too. Shout out to all of you. I appreciate it. Hey, C-Star. I like his dry humor. Me too. Candace is a whole pterodactyl. She sits here and denies her descendants every 5 minutes. There are no dinosaurs. So you just gonna deny all your cousins like that. Your parents, your relatives, them uncles and aunts, you're just gonna ignore all of them. Got it. Hey, Diane, honey, how you doing, honey? How you doing? She was born a female. Thank you. Candace acts as if science is not a thing because she doesn't believe in it. Only when it's necessary, I guess. If Sigmund Freud tells her to believe in it, then she'll believe it. Otherwise, Candace doesn't care. Just like she doesn't care about evidence. Just like she doesn't care about photos or exhibits or documentation or facts or what's 2 + 2. Candace could care less about anything that does not fit her dumbass narrative. Candace, when are you going to produce these 2 degrees you said you had? And why is Piers Morgan sitting here sucking ass to Candace Owens? Why are you doing that, Piers? You understand how stupid that makes you look? Now you look like a whole simp. Real men don't have to sit here and follow along a cult leader because reasons. You owe her nothing. This girl can't even produce 2 degrees that she told you she has. She came on your show and said she has 2 degrees. Are you ever going to demand that she shows the actual proof of her 2 degrees, Piers Morgan? Or are you just going to be a simp? Don't start simping now. You can't make this up. Hit the 4 if you're a real man and you don't believe in simping behind Candace. Ciao.
Finally, Piers pushes back.
But my point is this. You would be able to prove it to me by taking a simple test, right? You would just say, here we are. Here are the results. Here's the test. That's the best way to do this, right?
Now we have 2 competing standards. An objective test versus narrative evidence in the form of photos and life history. Candace never engages with the stronger, verifiable standard. Instead, she pivots back to the weaker one.
Actually, because we were in communication with her legal team long before she launched this website, we never asked for something that deep. We literally gave her a list of 21 yes or no questions and asked her to just answer it on the record.
This is called evidential reframing. A strong form of proof is swapped for one that's easier to control and easier to narrate. She reinforces it with vivid imagery, yearbooks, pregnancy, which is no accident. These are mental pictures designed to persuade, not verifiable.
I want y'all to look at this. All this damn fluff. Candace, you said all this. Guess what? You're not going to be able to say that in court. There will not be time for you to give a soliloquy every time you're asked a question. And Judge Rennie is not playing your BS game of beat around the bush. He's not playing that. So you're going to have to learn how to answer a question and be done with it. I don't think her attorneys are going to want her to take the stand for a trial. They're not going to want her to take the stand because there's a jury demand. And Candace can't, give you the definition of globalism, let alone answer a question in the court of law under oath. Because, Candace, you lie like hell, girl. You lie too much. But I would love for you to be put under oath. I want you to be cross-examined. I want you to be deposed. I want this deposition to take many, many hours of your day. All while you're under oath. Because guess what'll happen if you lie? Something you have no problem doing any other time. Guess what'll happen, Candace? I'll let you find out the hard way because I know things you don't know.
Evidence. The audience is encouraged to imagine her life story, while the claim itself remains untested.
Hit the like button,
by calling it something that deep, she remains intentionally vague. She doesn't name the test at all. This strategic ambiguity lets her appear reasonable. Oh, we didn't ask for anything extreme, while sidestepping the actual challenge. It also carries an implicit presupposition that the requested evidence is excessive or intrusive, subtly shifting the audience's evaluation onto Pierce's request rather than the claim itself, combined with her hedging words. The phrasing projects caution and thoughtfulness, masking the facts that she never addresses the core issue, whether the claim that Brigitte Macron is male can actually be proven. Now comes a key move.
We literally gave her a list of 21 yes or no questions and asked her to just answer it on the record. Also offered to fly over to Paris and interview Brigitte to get her side of the story. Before we even launched the first episode of the Becoming Brigitte series, we were in communication and offered them a chance to rebut. And they came back and said, we don't have to submit anything to prove that she is a woman and we don't want to answer your questions.
This is where the logic breaks. because what she's implying is they didn't answer, therefore something is wrong.
Oh,
This is an argument
so
from
good.
silence. In reality, there's a third option. They don't engage because the claim isn't credible. But that possibility is never acknowledged. Instead, the refusal is reframed as suspicious. This is also burden of proof reversal. The person being accused is now responsible for disproving the accusation. That's not how evidence works. That's how accusations sustain themselves. The words, literally, and just answer it, reinforce a framing. Literally signals precision and honesty, making it sound like the effort required is minimal and straightforward. Just answer it further minimizes the request, implying fairness and reasonableness, while positioning the other side as secretive and uncooperative. Linguistically, these small word choices help present her as diligent and rational, even though the core factual question is never addressed. All of this doesn't stop Candace from framing herself as reasonable. She never actually addresses the core factual question, whether the claim that Brigitte Macron is male can be definitively proven or disproven. Instead, she focuses on her team's actions, sending 21 yes or no questions, offering to fly to Paris, and framing the other side's refusal as unreasonable. She emphasizes narrative evidence, photos, yearbooks, life history, rather than engaging with any objective, falsifiable standard, like the test Pierce mentioned. All of this shifts attention away from the claim itself and onto her own diligence and fairness. The audience sees effort and thoroughness, but the actual question of evidence remains untested. This is an example of deflecting from the core issue while maintaining the appearance of reasonableness. Even when Pierce asks directly, Candace doesn't answer the core issue.
If on day one of this case, she just produces an actual test report that says she's a woman, you're going to realize in that moment you've been completely duped. What do you do then?
Okay, Piers, I'm not concerned about it because, like I said,
keep on not being concerned about it, Candace, because that's why you have court on April 28th at 10 a.m. This is why you're being sued, because you are not concerned about it. So don't get mad when a jury is not concerned about your dumb word salad, you moron. Don't get mad when they issue a judgment against you and they were not concerned about you out here defaming this woman and you have no scientific evidence to prove that she was born a man, because scientific evidence is what you would need to prove that. You don't get to just say someone's a man or a woman and defame them when you have no scientific evidence. That is the only irrefutable evidence you can produce when it comes to gender. Scientific evidence, DNA, diagnostic test results, whether it be an MRI or an X-ray, blood work, scientific evidence. That's it. And they are bringing that with them to court. Candace is going to have to pay them $59 million. Y'all, I hope y'all know the Macron's attorney, they're watching everything, because see, this stuff speaks to her character and it's going to speak to her mindset and how she purposefully and intentionally pushed this dumb-ass narrative with no scientific evidence at all. They're not going to care what you think Brigitte Macron looks like. They're only going to care with what the evidence has tested her to be regarding her gender. The court of law is not concerned about how you feel or what you think. It is about what you can prove when you're talking about a matter that can only be proven one way or the other with scientific evidence. Not your willpower and your confidence. That's why she's trying to get this thing dismissed, because she does not want to go to the discovery phase when they're already bringing DNA evidence with them. You think she wants to go to trial with that? It's not. How long do you all think that will be? Once the doctor testifies and admits the DNA evidence into record, as the exhibits as evidence through the testimony on the record. How much longer do you all think they will be there trying to debate that? Her attorneys are probably going to look at her and say, listen, we need to just go ahead and settle because this is about to get real embarrassing for you. Candace, you're going to look like an idiot when DNA test results prove that this woman was born a woman. You're going to be an idiot. And the jury will not care about all that bullshit you've said in all these series. They're going to care about the DNA test results. I know you're watching, Heifer, because you actually think that even with the defamation, they should not be suing you in Delaware. She didn't even deny defaming them. She's just saying, I did it in Tennessee. I'm still looking for that comment, by the way, on her on X. But that's where we are now. I want to go. If I could listen, let me tell you something. If the Macrones were giving out golden tickets to fly up to Delaware to attend this court hearing to some independent journalists, do you all not know how fast I would apply for that? I don't care if it's here in the US or in Paris, I would go. I got my golden ticket, y'all. And I'm going to take y'all with me. I'm going to do a blog every day. I'll go live every single day while I'm there. From the moment I get off that damn plane, I'm going live, covering every aspect of that hearing. If I could go in person and do that, I sure damn would. No Reply said Claire and Locke are not just watching everything, but I'm sending them everything. So if the Macrones invite me to Paris, LMA, or you're coming to LLC. Yeah! Let me know when the flight is, buddy. Yeah, I'm going. Yeah. To the Macrones, I know you can do it. Just bring your DNA evidence and we'll be ready to go. Candace is going to be broke as hell. Candace, this is not the only lawsuit you're about to catch. We just had Josh Carr on here, honey. Candace, the Macrones aren't the only ones suing you. Candace, I should sue you for pain and suffering. And for your dumb candy-ass cult members getting on my nerve. Y'all let me know. I'm going to send some up. We have to draft some up. Maybe I ought to send Candace a cease and desist. Can you cease and desist from being a dumbass for 5 minutes? Just give us a break. Cease and desist from failing to read a book or words. Can you just go to the dictionary for once? You can't make this. Yeah, we ought to send her. All of us should send her a cease and desist. Candace should get a flurry of cease and desist letters from everybody that's sick and tired of her lying like hell and making a bunch of money and getting views off of her lies, because her cult members are still confirming that she's doing this for views, likes, clicks, subs, and money, because they keep leaving comments confirming that, because they're stupid. This is why I don't care about what the cult members think. I know what they think. They just copy and paste. You can't make this up. We all should send Candace a cease and desist letter. We're going to sue your ass if you keep getting on our nerve just for pain and suffering of it all. Candace. The Macrones are going to mollywop you in court. I'm here for it.
It's been about 10 years, and Brigitte could have done that at any moment. She's been in multiple lawsuits, involved in lawsuits, trying to shut journalists up.
She sidesteps the scenario, focusing on the past 10 years on other lawsuits, and that Brigitte could have provided evidence at any time.
Oh,
this is a subtle form of evasion. She acknowledges the question, but deflects the consequences, framing herself as confident and reasonable, while leaving the claim itself unfalsifiable. By refusing to accept or address direct evidence, she ensures that no proof could definitively disprove her assertion. In effect, the claim can always be explained away, keeping the controversy alive and preserving her rhetorical control over the audience. Now watch the escalation.
It's a very serious subject, actually, Piers. And if you watched even the first episode of the Becoming Brigitte series, you'll understand there's an entire network of criminals that are surrounding the Macrones.
This is a major, very deliberate shift. We've moved from a specific, testable claim to a vague, expansive network. This is a classic modern Bailey tactic. The Bailey, the extreme claim. Brigitte Macron is a man. The mod, a broader, safer claim there are questionable people around them. When challenged, the argument retreats to the safer ground. Also, notice the language.
Entire network that are surrounding.
These are non-specific association terms.
Network.
They don't assert directly. They imply. That's how you suggest something without having to prove it. Next, she appeals directly to the audience.
You're going to realize in that moment, you've been completely duped. What do you do then?
Piers, I'm not concerned about it because, like I said, it's been about 10 years and Brigitte could have done that at any moment. She's been in multiple lawsuits involved.
No, you just started going after her, though. It wasn't 10 years of you going after her and her suing you in court. Candace, you're going to learn the hard way, girl. One way or the other, heifer, you about to learn. You don't get to violate laws and defame people with malicious intent and then think you're supposed to just walk away scot-free from it, especially when you've made a boatload of money off of lying. It's what you do. You make money from lying, but there's a price to pay for that. You're going to suffer the consequences of it here on earth in this reality. Don't try to skyrocket on April 28th off of our planet. You understand me, Candace? Do not leave the country. Take your ass to court. I don't care if it's a virtual hearing. Be online. Your attorney should make sure you're present and in attendance. We're not playing with you. And if she goes and tries to leave the country on April 28th, all of a sudden get sick or something, talking about I got to have surgery on my foot. Yeah, no, you can do that after court.
In lawsuits trying to shut journalists up. I mean, you really are asking people to defy their common sense in this moment. They know what has happened here. They know that we went to Brigitte before we started this series to get Brigitte's side of this. We were in contact with Brigitte's lawyers, the same ones that filed this case. We asked simple yes or no questions. We were not requiring a blood test. So, like I said, you are asking people at home to suspend their common sense and to truly believe that rather than answering yes or no questions, rather than maybe at first going after the author of the book, Xavier Poussard, who is a friend.
No, we're going after your dumbass for failing to read it, Candace, and for understanding that what he said still did not come up to DNA evidence. You know, because science is a thing here on earth in this reality amongst us human beings. And that explains what what's going on with our human body. That would also explain if someone is born a man or a woman, DNA evidence would justify that. That's it. It's that simple. Why can I wait in court?
For defamation, that would be the first thing. Why don't you launch, at least at the same time, both of these suits? I'm going to go after Candace and Xavier Poussard. They are instead only going after me for defamation and not the person who sourced this entire quote unquote rumor. There is, let me tell you, Piers, too many people who have watched this series.
You know why? Because when they calculate how much money you've earned, Candace, you've probably earned around $50 to $60 million. It's how much you've earned off of Charlie Kirk's assassination and weaponizing that. Even though you claim to have overwhelming evidence that you refuse to prove, you've tried to give to the authorities. Don't you all think if you have evidence to show that someone committed a crime, even just criminal intent, to aid in the unaliving of someone, wouldn't you want to give that to the authorities? Wouldn't you want to live stream yourself, pull one of those Marianne Lawrence stunts, and go to a police station and at least record yourself giving it to the police, going back to talk to the cops, even if you end the live before you go to the interrogation room? Wouldn't you at least want to prove, I've gone out my way to give these idiots this evidence to show proof that anybody was involved in the unaliving of Charlie Kirk and they did not want it? Wouldn't she have that in a video live stream, that with her going to the police station or talking to the authorities to give them this evidence? Because otherwise, why not give it to the authorities, Candace? Come on, you dumb heifer. Put your thinking cap on. We're not taking down, our aspects or abilities to do critical thinking or anything. We're not doing that. Your cult members do that. That's not all of us, Candace. I know you listening, heifer. We're not all sacrificing our critical thinking skills. That's just you and your cohorts. But just to ease the troubles and answer some questions of many of us who keep asking you, if you have evidence, if thou, because I maybe have to say it biblically, like I'm a preacher. If thou has evidence to prove Erica Kirk unalived her husband, why don't you, Blurpy, you dumb alien, turn it over to the authorities and turn her in? Oh, Lord. Why can't you give it to the authorities? Give the overwhelming evidence to the authorities, Candace. And then send me a copy of it so I can read and laugh at it. Why do you want to do that? Is it because you have nothing, Candace? Just like you don't have any DNA evidence to prove that Brigitte Macron was born a man? Yeah. Funny how you have no evidence for anything. They're suing you because you made a ton of money. Who the hell cares about Xavier Broussard? We don't even know who that clown is. Yeah, who is Xavier Broussard? I really don't care. We don't care about him, Candace. We don't give a damn about that man. We need a blurpy image. Yeah, we need a blurpy image. We don't care who Xavier. No. You've had the bigger impact, girl. To all the candy ass cult members, come into the chat. Because I know you all have been waiting. You've been itching and scratching and waiting. Just like Candace's 10-year-old yeast infection. Candace, how's Grimace treating you today? Have you gotten that monostat 7? You're going to need it. Don't go to court and then sit here and tell me I got to go to the bathroom because my yeast infection acting up. You will not be permitted to keep going to the damn bathroom. When you got court April 28th, go to the bathroom, Candace, before you go into that courtroom. Do you hear me, heifer? We've been waiting a long time for this first hearing. Take your ass in there and sit the hell down and do what your attorney say you or don't. We don't care. Sit down and go to the bathroom before you go. Drink water and go to the bathroom and then sit down and get ready for court. You understand me? And don't go in there wearing some dumb shit. Put on like a black or blue suit. Can't make this out. Got to teach Candace how to act up in court. Lock her up. I've had enough. Candace, if you feel the need to throw a shoe or something like that, go ahead and do it. It'll just be entertaining. I'm not going to tell you what's going to happen. I just wanted you to try. Y'all, Blurpy refuses to give over evidence to prove that Erica Kirk did anything to the authorities. I thought you trusted Joe Kent, Candace. If you had evidence, why did you give it to Joe Kent? You know, sloppy Joe Kent, who resigned and is now under investigation. Why didn't you give your overwhelming evidence to sloppy Joe Kent? Because I thought you trusted him. So let me get this straight. Candace trusted sloppy Joe Kent. To all the candy ass cult members, bring your dumb asses to the chat. I need you all to understand something. While you keep leaving these dumb comments in my videos. If Candace, the White Walker, trusted sloppy Joe Kent, who was at the time supposed to be more of a liaison between the FBI and the CIA, two government agencies, because you all were sick of the Fed slop, why didn't she give her overwhelming evidence to sloppy Joe Kent? Here's all my evidence, sloppy Joe, of Erica Kirk doing these heinous things. She was involved. Here's my evidence. You're going to have to do something. Why didn't she give it to sloppy Joe Kent since she trusted him? Candace, I thought you did not trust the feds. How much more hypocritical and dumb are you going to be, girl? Your cult members think you're a genius. Y'all, they think she's smart. This is the same idiot, the same alien, Blurpy, who does not know the difference between the letter N and the number 9. This broadcast has been brought to you by the letter N and the number 9. Two things that Candace cannot distinguish.
Okay, they're watching your show now and they know that you are not accurately presenting what has happened here. But also, Piers, I think you are better than defending a criminal network, right? And that's the biggest piece of the story.
Now, disagreement isn't just wrong, it's irrational. This is called an appeal to common sense, but functionally it works as a shortcut around evidence. It instructs the audience, if you don't agree, you're ignoring what's obvious. But here, common sense is doing something very specific. It's replacing careful analysis with intuition, and intuition is easy to manipulate. It can be guided by selective framing, emotionally charged language, or repeated assertions, rather than by facts. By presenting her view as obvious, Candace encourages the audience.
That's the look of facts. What's that? Yeah, these freeze frames are epic. This is the look of Candace trying to figure out what's a fact. Yo, and then no S-Files right here. You right on point. Why didn't Candace give any evidence to Joe Kent when she claimed that the French and Israeli operatives were after her? So, Candace, you claimed that there was a death threat on your life, remember? Why didn't you send over the evidence to Sloppy Joe Kent? That could have been the person she sent the text message to. Now that I think about it. Y'all remember she said that she text somebody higher up? Y'all remember that? Hit the 4. Hit the 4 if you remember Candace saying, I text someone high up in the FBI when she was claiming that her life was in danger and that someone was trying to take her life. And then she was blaming it on a French president. And then she said transactions were coming through from Club de Sant. Hit the 4. All right, Colleen, how you doing, honey? Yeah, there we go. Hit the 4. Y'all remember that? And she said, I text someone higher up. She sent a text message to someone higher up in the FBI. And the first thing I said, reacted to her dumbass video, was, why didn't you file a formal complaint? And you can do that online. Then she said, I didn't file a formal email. Well, you don't file a formal email for an FBI complaint. You have to submit it through that IC3 portal. So if you have someone you can text, that's one thing. But if you want it officially on the record that you filed a complaint saying some president in another country is trying to take my life, wouldn't you want to file it through the actual system? And then you can have evidence that you filed the complaint and then they just ignored your ass. What about all those times, though, when she said the FBI was ignoring her? So does that mean Sloppy Joe Kent was ignoring her? I want y'all to think about all the things she said about how the FBI was ignoring her, how they weren't responding to her. Then she put some, called the White House. They put some note on Trump's desk and he was like, F Candace. And then she got on her show and just went berserk. How she felt like they were just kind of ghosting her, right? Why would Sloppy Joe Kent ghost her? Why would she even say no one in the FBI is responding to her? Knowing she's already said she has sources in the FBI, one of them being Sloppy Joe Kent. So what did he do again? Candace, if you trusted him, even though you don't trust the feds because you lie like hell, why didn't Sloppy Joe Kent do anything? Wouldn't you want him to do an investigation to see if somebody's truly after you, trying to murk you from France and Israel? So that means Sloppy Joe Kent failed. He's also a piece of shit. Right? Wouldn't he have done something to the candy asses? This is why I want y'all to come into this chat. Hit the like button, y'all. Hit that like button. Let's get this up in the algorithm. Because I want all the candy asses to explain to me why they're not going off on Sloppy Joe Kent for investigating Candace's claims that somebody was trying to unalive her. Why didn't he do it? She trusted him to vet Mitch Snow, allegedly. Because, Mitch Snow is a liar too, and no one can trust that shit. But if you really concerned and you work for the FBI, CIA, and you're Joe Kent, and you feel like nothing's being done about, it's a whole trial going on in Utah with Tyler Robinson having been the person that took Charlie's life, but they want to act as if that's not happening at all. But you have someone that's saying the French president and Israeli operatives are trying to take my life. He does nothing. And then she comes on her show and forgets that he's there and says that the FBI is ignoring her and ghosted her. Shouldn't the candy asses be getting into his ass? Going off on him on X about him failing to investigate any allegations that the French and Israel are trying to unalive her? Shouldn't they be going after Sloppy Joe Kent? Candy asses, you should be mad at him because he was someone who was connected both to the FBI and CIA, and he did nothing. And she said that she was just ghosted. They just ignoring her in the FBI. But Sloppy Joe Kent was there, right? And she trusted him. So why didn't he do anything about that allegation? Why didn't he look into those transactions coming through Club Descent? He had the resources. Candace, see, this is what happens when you lie. And then it just falls through and you never follow up because you don't. You know you're lying. But now you put Sloppy Joe Kent in a vicarious situation because he did nothing when you were talking about, oh, they all after me to kill me. I can't even go outside. And then she goes to Dolly World. I'm just saying, y'all. George, how's that black guy treating you?
Audience to accept it without scrutiny, keeping them on her side even when the evidence is weak or absent. By teaming up with the audience, she frames Pierce, not herself, as the one asking people to suspend their common sense. This creates an us versus them dynamic, aligning listeners with her perspective and preempting the reasonable observation that she's the one asking the audience to ignore evidence. Manipulatively, she makes it sound as if she's not alone in judging Pierce's presentation of what has happened here. She rhetorically implies consensus, suggesting others see Pierce as obstructive, even though he's simply asking questions. She also reverses the roles of scrutiny. Instead of her claims being examined, she casts Pierce as defending wrongdoing, implying he's enabling a criminal network, a serious accusation she hasn't substantiated. At the same time, she employs narrative substitution, replacing the simple falsifiable question with the long list of procedural details and contextual stories, which appear thorough but avoid addressing the core factual claim. Finally, she emphasizes that the legal action targets her alone for defamation, not the journalist who first published the book. This victim framing positions her as selectively persecuted, cultivating audience sympathy while simultaneously shifting focus away from the central falsifiable question, whether her claims about Brigitte Macron's gender are supported by objective evidence. Then we get the clearest signal of all.
I would stake my entire career on the notion that she was actually born Jean-Michel Trugnel. I believe that, right? And
this isn't evidence. It's personal commitment. And in rhetoric, that matters because it signals something deeper. The belief is no longer conditional. It's identity-based. Once someone ties their reputation, their career, their identity to a claim, backing down becomes almost impossible. This is how arguments become non-falsifiable in practice, not because they can't be disproven, but because they won't be. The speaker refuses to ever concede, no matter what evidence appears, which is the opposite of seeking truth.
I'm only interested in truth.
Sure, because clearly...
No, she's only interested in a narrative that somehow even Joe Kent couldn't even believe. You know what? Shout out to you, No Reply. This is it. I saw your email me again, Moki, because I didn't see your email. I don't know if you tried to email me, but I only saw one from No Reply. I did get the email, y'all. It's so funny. I might make it. No, because we did the interview with Josh earlier. I'm gonna have to make it the next thumbnail. Candace, it's gonna be so funny. It's gonna be good. So you're not gonna want to miss it, girl. Check my email. Are you sending something, Moki? I'll check it. I'm checking it now. Actually, I'm looking at it. I don't see anything from you. Just no reply. Jason said I had a piece break off. Now it's like a crayon when I went through 2 rows. Jason, why are you telling us about your adventures on the toilet? You got to get some wet wipes, honey. Go get you some wet wipes. Yeah, Jason wanted us to know he's having some issues. Okay, get you some wet wipes. All right. You got to wet the tissue up a little bit. Oh, good Lord. I'll resend it. Yes, go ahead. Resend it. Thank y'all for tuning in. Hit that like button. We almost done with this one. Candace is not interested in any truth. She only wants her narrative. That's it. She don't give a damn about nothing else. Candace don't care. You can't make this up.
She isn't motivated at all by the views, money, and attention generated from making claims she can't substantiate in any meaningful or scientific way.
And I'm willing to go through this because it's an important story about government deception. But even if you suspended that, you are right now defending a government that lied even about the beginning of their quote unquote love story, in which his parents removed him from school. This is wrong. Everything that's happening right now in France is wrong, and it is.
Candace, you know what else is wrong? Lying on your parents that they kicked you out of the house at 14 years old, and then you somehow had to live with your boyfriend for 6 months. You were 14. How old was that boyfriend that you lived with for 6 months? Because his parents should not have ever allowed that. I highly doubt he was your age. I'm going to just take a gander and think that he may have been at least 25. Old enough to have his own place, but not too old. And you were 14, girl. So what's the deal with that? Candace, do you care to share about this boyfriend? Well, who was the boyfriend? I would love to interview him. Whoever the boyfriend is that Candace lived with for 6 months, can you please email me at ladyluckclubllc@yahoo.com? Hopefully this gets out into the cosmos. Y'all hit that like button. So hopefully whomever that boyfriend was and the students that she went to school with for that discrimination lawsuit thing that never went to court and she got a settlement out of. Yeah, I would love to interview those that she accused. I want to interview them. Because Candace is not who anyone thinks she is. And of course, her cult members are going to think that she's, God's greatest gift to earth. She's an alien. We could care less. Blurpy is an alien. We don't put fake humans above real humans. We don't do that. You can't make this up. What do we put an alien on a pedestal? I just don't understand why they won't leave the United States of America or the continent of North America and then just go buy their own land and then they can start their own nation where Candace can be a dictator because that's what she wants to be. And they can leave the rest of us out of it. You want to obsess over Candace 24/7? It's your prerogative. Do what you want to do. 2 points for who knows that song. You can't make this up. Don't force us into your buffoonery. You want to be a cult? Be a cult somewhere else. Get the hell out of our country. Leave us alone. We, the United States of America, are not in the mood. Candace, we're going to all start sending you cease and desist. This is absolutely ridiculous. Where she refuses to look up the definition of the word truth or fact or evidence. You can't make this up. This is why she's going to lose.
Perverted. And as a mother, I will stand up to this. And I am confident that we will emerge as the winners of this because in America, truth is an absolute defense against defamation. And I am telling the truth.
Candace begins by framing herself as both victim and hero.
And I'm willing to go through this.
Positioning herself as bravely enduring scrutiny, while implying that Brigitte and the French government are aggressors. She invokes a status as a mother, completely unprompted, which functions as an appeal to audience sympathy and ethical alignment.
That's all she does is try to get sympathy out of them. And guess what they do? They sit here and give it to her. Yeah, Candace is the mom. Aren't we all? So is George. If Candace is a mom, George is a mom too. Whatever. George Farmer. Despite your black eye, you can still kiss my ass. You and Candace. You can't make this up. Who's to say that George didn't give birth? We haven't seen any proof that Candace gave birth. You know, she could have been walking around with one of those pregnancy pillow fake belly bumps on, with the electric shock and everything to give herself fake contractions, and then get to the hospital and pay a bunch of people off to say, hey, I need you to lie and say I just gave birth to a child, because Lord knows that's not happening. George, come on in here. Your water broke. Yeah, George's water broke. His water broke, and he just decided, you know what? I guess I'm gonna have to go at it alone. And he, for once, came out that closet, and Andrew Tate was not by his side. Candace, we could just start saying that George gave birth. Maybe he's the woman and you're the man. Perhaps, maybe. I'm asking questions. Maybe George is the woman and Candace is really the man. And they just do this to get on our nerve as opposed to being themselves. Can't make this up.
This rhetorical signaling of concern and responsibility is a classic tactic to encourage trust, especially when the audience might be skeptical. She then makes sweeping generalizations.
Oh,
Everything that's happening right now in France is wrong and it is perverted.
Casting the broader situation in morally extreme terms and priming the audience to accept her framing. It's an appeal to mental images, guiding listeners to visualize the enemy rather than seek verification or proof. Notice the diversion tactic embedded in.
It's an important story about government deception. But even if you suspended that, you are right now defending a government that lied even about the beginning of their quote-unquote love story.
Here, Candace shifts attention away from her unproven claims about government deception to Pierce's hypothetical position, implying wrongdoing on his part. The accusation is entirely unsubstantiated and functions as a rhetorical smokescreen. It frames Pierce as complicit and redirects scrutiny away from the central question, whether her claims about Brigitte Macron are supported by evidence. Finally, she asserts that she and her team will emerge as winners, an extension of her earlier rhetoric, because she has tied her career, reputation, and identity to the claim. Conceding is effectively off the table, and victory is presented as inevitable. Together, these moves distract from the factual core, while maximizing audience alignment and emotional investment. Invoking America here does a few things rhetorically.
Yeah, all of this is designed to get you emotionally involved and nothing else, because Candace is a narcissist who needs to be the smartest person in the room. I'm going to say this every time I can. And in order for her to feel like the smartest person in the room, which will be her cult and her people, everyone else has to be dumber than her. It's not even an option. If you're a candy-ass cult member or a simp or a bootlicker for Candace, Amber Rose Owens Farmer, you must be dumber than she is. Because no matter what happens, she will come out the smartest person in the room. You might not like it, but she's not competing with any of you people. I don't care if you black, white, red, purple, blurpy, green, yellow, orange, blue. I don't care what you are. Narcissism doesn't care about your race particularly. It just cares about dominance. It cares about control. They don't always care who is controlling. I'm not saying that there aren't narcissistic racist leaders out there, because there are. But Candace doesn't care what race you are. She don't care if you're a man or woman, black or white, none of that. She just wants control. For someone to say, I want to be a dictator. You know, they're going to make me dictator. No, your cult is going to make you dictator. But the rest of us will beat your ass if you think you're going to be dictator of our country. No, ma'am. But yet, hence why she's connecting to them so much emotionally and getting them riled up. Because they refuse to read or look up definitions of terms or tell me what's 2 times 3. She doesn't know the difference between the letter N and the number 9. And she's the smartest person in the room. So if you got all the candy ass cult members and Candace together, she will be the smartest person in the room. Bottom line. Everyone else would be dumber than her. So why appeal to them intellectually? They have none. They have zero intellect. In her world, and you're in Candace's cult, you don't have any intellect. You just copy paste and you understand exactly what she tells you to. So she takes away your free will and your ability to think on your own independently. And their response to her is to bow down and worship her at her feet. Not say, girl, if you don't get someone sit down, kick rocks. This is not a dictatorship. We don't condone that shit here. No, they just, whatever you say, master. Yes, master. Yes, Candace. Why does she need to appeal to them intellectually when emotional is good enough? Emotionally, mentally, psychologically, they're hooked. So reading to them is futile. They don't care about that. So the idea of truth, facts, and evidence is only based on what she says, not based on what's existing as truth, facts, and evidence. No, just whatever she tells them. The sky can be blurpy, and she's going to just convince them of that, and they're going to say, okay, the sky's blurpy. You all need to educate yourselves. The sky isn't blue, it's blurpy. Look. They say, you know, they're looking at Candace Owens in the sky while we see the sky is blue. Yeah, it's cult members. Who needs to intellectually appeal to them? Just tell them a bunch of things and say God is, you know, the master of my platform and keep it moving. And they're going to be like, yep, okay, that's good.
It situates the conflict within a context familiar and reassuring to her audience, signaling that she's operating under legal protections they trust. It also implicitly contrasts US norms with France, suggesting that her position is strengthened simply by being in an American legal and cultural framework. This functions as a subtle appeal to authority and reassurance, bolstering her argument while shifting attention away from the underlying factual claims. To his credit, Pierce tries to force the issue.
I've seen your slightly torturous explanation for how she's managed to secretly have 3 kids and it wasn't her and she's a man. But ultimately, if she proves she's a woman, which is very easily provable, your whole case just...
Yes, that's right. It's very easily provable to everyone with a brain. Pierce forgot he was talking to Candace, a cult leader. She doesn't give a damn. Her perception of reality is not the same as ours. It's as if she's stuck in some alternate reality and she would just rather be high all day. George, how's that black eye working for you again? Moki, I got your email. We'll watch it next.
Just implodes, doesn't it?
This is an attempt to restore a clear falsification condition, a simple standard by which the claim could be tested. But notice what happens. Candace doesn't engage that standard directly. Instead, she pivots to a series of alternative focal points, unanswered questions, past behavior, and ongoing suspicion. She says,
well, Pierce, it sounds like you're on our side. It's been 10 years of the press saying that she was born a woman. She sued people for cyberbullying. She's sued people for speaking wrong about a document. And yet the easiest path would have just been to simply release photos from 30 years of your life.
By framing it this way, she makes it seem as if Pierce agrees with her, creating a false impression of consensus. Meanwhile, the core claim about Brigitte Macron's gender is never directly addressed. This pattern, acknowledging a challenge superficially, then pivoting to other issues, keeps the claim effectively unfalsifiable and manipulates the audience's perception of the exchange, all without actually responding to the factual question. This is manipulation in action. What I've examined here is more than just a single case. This is a pattern often seen with podcasters like Candace Owens, where claims are deliberately framed to be controversial and attention-grabbing, regardless of whether they can be proven in any meaningful or scientific way. Audiences listen closely because they identify with her political beliefs, alleged conservative values, or life stories, and in doing so, they often ignore or fail to critically examine the issues. Over time, this approach fosters unquestioning loyalty and reinforces a personality-driven following, which is exactly how personality cults emerge, where adherence to the figure takes precedence over engagement with reality. This level of manipulative and at times deceptive rhetoric isn't limited to this particular subject. It raises a more specific question. If Candace Owens is using these strategies here, where else might she be relying on them? And how often are these same techniques shaping what her audience accepts as true, without those claims ever being properly examined? Liking someone's alleged political stance or values isn't an excuse to ignore their manipulation. If you like the video, click the like button. See you next.
Y'all listen. That was awesome. What's his name? Martin Dakota. Oh, y'all, it's the cynicism for me. I like the dry humor, like Juju said. He just sitting here like, how did he do this whole thing? This video was what? 19 minutes. He did this whole thing without laughing. I would have been here rolling. Oh my goodness. Y'all, Moki sent the video.
I'm not doing this. Sorry, guys. It's pointless.
Wait, what? The video of him walking off.
You know what?
What does it say? Versus HS who? Tiki Talkie? That's a real thing? The news movement. Piers walks out of an interview.
You know what? I'm not doing this. Sorry, guys. It's pointless.
I respect guys, yeah, that have their own opinions, right? But I don't really respect, you trying to come on and say, "Oh, I'm homophobic," and try and really push that point when I wouldn't say I'm homophobic at all.
I understand that, but I'm curious why you don't think disowning a child for being gay is homophobic.
What I do with my children is up to me. What I do with my children is up to me.
Of course. Okay? Of course.
I don't agree with you going to Epstein's Island and having freak-offs with Ghislaine Maxwell and the rest of them. But I don't need to bring it up because this is about misogyny,
just to be clear,
and everything like this.
Harrison,
okay?
Harrison,
okay? I don't agree with that,
just
sir.
To be clear, just to be
freak
clear.
Offs on the island.
Yes, nor do I. And as is a
Are you sure?
Fact,
Are you sure?
Do you want to keep doing this? You'll make yourself look very stupid.
Are you sure, Piers? Oh, really? Really?
Yes.
To people like you, sir, I don't mind that. You make yourself look like an idiot every single day.
Wait, is it true that he was on Epstein Island? Is it true? Because if that's not factually true, what was he named? Was he on Epstein Island? Garrett, make it 90. Simone, don't come in here insulting me with that $14,000. Don't be cheap. Make it $144,000. You forgot a zero. There's a difference. What you just sent me is $14,000. No, ma'am, $144,000. Give me another zero. And that's per hour. I don't come cheap, girl. If Candace can make $60 million easily off of lying like hell, I feel no type of way about getting $144,000. Girl. Give me the money. Leave me a cash app while you at it, girl. Shout out to you.
All day when your wife is at home posting pictures that you're out and she wants to get used like a toy by a big black man who is cleaning her car. Is that why you have a problem with me? Is that why you're pushing this homophobic narrative? Because I'm the big black man that shagged your wife while you are on holiday. Okay? We can all have a push and a shove, sir. Let's go back to talking about the documentary and less of the homophobia.
Do you know what? Here's what I think about you. I watched the documentary. I think you're a fucking idiot. I think you're a sexist, misogynist, homophobic twerp. I couldn't care less about your silly little insults. It's like a 2-year-old. Why would I care?
A 2-year-old? A 2-year-old? Listen, sir, I don't know why you come on and you talk like you're holier than thou. As soon as you're away,
all right, let's
who's
end
this?
this.
Applications are open.
All right, let's just
that's your ting, bro. That's your girl.
Let's end this. You know what? I'm not doing
this. What the heck? Who is the photo? I've never heard of this guy. What is this? The news movement. The hell we missed? How? Okay, let's step back. Is it true that Piers Morgan was on the island with Jeffrey Epstein? Or did he just say that as a euphemism or something? Because if Piers Morgan wasn't there, it didn't sound like he was reporting information. It sounded like he was making an actual allegation, like an affirmative allegation. Why did he show his wife? Y'all, who is this guy? How did he get that photo? This is their channel, the News Movement. Or that was the channel of the short. Was it his channel or they just posted that up? When did this happen? Oh, here it is.
So I'm here at JFK Airport where ICE agents.
Oh, come on. Okay, this is the video here. So, is this his channel? Hold on, you guys the comments are coming in slow. Hold on. S5 said, I never heard of him. No Reply said, I don't think he was on the island. I never seen his name on the list, but that doesn't mean he didn't go. But it's what you can prove, not what you know. Is that, I mean, exactly. He's like just saying it like it's a fundamental fact, and he didn't provide any evidence on that. But he wouldn't let Piers like debunk it either. To say, first of all, I've never been there. There's no evidence of it. Like, we're living in an age where people are just being accused of dumb shit, and you don't have evidence and documentation, and yet they want to redefine the word truth and facts and evidence. That's not how it works if you get sued. Because when you go to court, they don't care about, well, in the moment, I just got caught up, and I'm sorry, Ayana. I just so happened to make an allegation of some sort. It came up, and because I just figured the photo of the wife, I just how's my British accent coming? I just figured I put two and two together. You have to show evidence of that. Jeffrey Epstein is like almost close to the level of Satan right now, because no one wants to be affiliated with him, even though they were once upon a time. I'm not saying Piers Morgan wasn't there. I'm just saying, where's the evidence to prove he was? Just like No Reply. Where's that evidence? And why would that kid not want to provide evidence before recklessly accusing someone of being on Jeffrey Epstein Island, and you can't prove it? If you don't have the evidence to prove it, you won't be able to do that if he sues you either. That's a harsh allegation. I'm sorry. Child. Not everyone who went to the island did something bad. Not everyone at these parties did something people didn't even know. Exactly. Because they say the same thing about, Diddy's parties and stuff, with the baby oil. Everybody there didn't necessarily engage in the hoopla. But for the ones that did, I got to tell you all, I was shocked to see a couple of these people be caught up in this. Cuba Gooding Jr. is one of them. I mean, I'm still floored. It's, I don't know, just kind of hard to see him from Boys in the Hood, which is a classic. And now he's sitting here being accused of actually putting his hands on a man at Diddy's house. Like, you can't make this up. Yeah. Let's say I've been surprised. He showed Piers' wife. Yes, Piers in Epstein Island. There is a photo. What? That's Piers' wife. She is on hookup sites. What does that have to do with Epstein Island? Was she at Epstein Island? I don't know, but it doesn't matter. A lot of people went to the island. Exactly. A lot of people went. I just want the evidence. I would hope he would do that same thing. That's crazy. Just because there are photos doesn't mean they didn't do anything either. Could have been anyone's party. Yeah. We thought we saw George in a photo, to which I'm still working on trying to verify that photo. It was, his face was redacted. Or it was a young man that had features like George, and the face was redacted. So it's crazy. Let's see here. Oh, make sure I get back. So shout out to Martin Dakota. That was awesome. That was pretty good. It's pretty good. It was something else I wanted to show you all because we got a lot more content to get through with Candace. And I think one of you all sent me a video. Oh, man. It was something else I wanted to show you all. Now, let's see here. Because I have another live to do. Man, Edie's video is like 28 minutes. Oh, it's so hard to fight the urge and want to pause it. And Tamara. You know what? I wanted to check this one out.
All right, Joe.
Will the FBI investigation lead to Candace Owens? Now, this is the FBI investigation Graham is referring to. That's with Joe Kent. Because Candace isn't the Tyler Robinson, like Charlie Kirk assassination, is not being spearheaded by the FBI. So I'm wondering if, yeah, that's a good question. If they have any evidence to prove that Joe Kent sent Candace information in any manner, she'll be connected. Y'all saying Edie. Y'all want to see Edie. Okay. We'll see Edie. We'll see Edie. And I'll just resist the urge to not pause. Where is it? All right, here we go.
Informing me, Candace the priest.
First of all, who's Michael Knowles? This is called Michael Knowles Refuses to Call Out Evil. Let me drop the link to the video in the chat, and then we'll get to it. And then I have a live I got to do on Umar. He's an idiot that went on Breakfast Club. Let's see here. All right. Y'all hit the phone when y'all are ready. Let's get to it.
Priest told you to chill. I just want to I hear you. I hear you. Sue me. Stop. Have you ever just wanted to be quiet, physically assault people? Fuck you. There's a part of me that wants to shake her, but it's Lent. Or I want all of your message. A favor today.
I didn't finish my goddamn question.
It gotta finish. That's crazy.
Candace, the priest told you to chill. I hear you. I hear you. But I have to ask, have you ever just wanted to physically assault people? But it's Lent.
Howdy ho there, neighbors. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Edie. Today you can call me Farah. Lo, these many years, I've believed that the 50s was my era. Today I realize the 70s was definitely my era. Feathered hair, tan skin, over the top, contour and highlight, and glittery eyeshadow. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I did realize I only have one shade of blush. Now I have many blushes, but only one shade. Many of the same shades. I needed a coral shade for this Farah look. I had to use red eyeshadow. Okay, so I'm not going to get close.
What you supposed to be mocking?
And I will need to go to Ulta, although I did discover this new brand. Well, it's not a new brand, but I've discovered the She Glam. They have the cutest products, and they're super duper affordable. So I have things in my cart. I have it ready in my cart, which is waiting to purchase them. I'm also waiting to purchase my group therapy hoodie from Jay Witt's merch shop. I love Jay Witt. I'm missing group therapy right now to film this. I don't like you if you're mean to him. I also don't like you if you're mean to the story box.
She is trying to be fair.
Or Benjamin. Can't pronounce his last name. I think it's Schulte. Correct me if I'm wrong, Benny Boo. Cinema Shogun. Gary from Pyramid Factory. Artie. Trolls. Don't you talk about Artie. Tall, the traveling clat. I love Tall. Bronson. The eclectic journalist. Shady Lady Katie. Lisa Knows. All these people, if you're mean to them. And there's more.
I didn't get it.
I add to the list daily. I won't like
Wait a minute. Why am I not on this list? Edie, how did I get missed off this list? I practically do Candace Owens marathons, y'all. How did I get omitted? Shout out to Edie Lowe. Yeah, she's trying to be fair. False.
You don't want that, do you? I didn't think so. You know what I realized? I have never done a Wonder Woman costume. I think I need to do that. Linda Carter, holla at your girl. Okay, let's get into things. First and foremost, remember when I said I needed a black leopard cup? Courtesy of Bestie. Isn't it great? I'm going to get her a tiger one so that when we lay out this summer or next weekend, if it's nice, we can have fun cups. We already have these wig shop contacts. Like, okay, thank you for $13.99 today. If my reaction or something, or if I feel myself going blind. But until then, I just realized earlier today that Candy did another stupid episode for her Bride of Charlie series called Red Sparrow.
Oh
she thinks she's so clever. Sit all the way down. Sit all the way down. And can she wear something with color? Does it always? I'm all for black. Okay? Oh, it's spring. And we don't need you in your black wool turtleneck. I don't know. She was rather spicy because she got a new tip. Somebody sent her an email with proof that she didn't show. Obviously, the only thing that she showed during this non-episode was her stupid timeline. She wrote out. She doesn't have or present any hard facts. The only thing that she's shown are her Google searches, newspaper clippings that her team probably found her that make no sense. A sheet that she created with the themes that she identified during her investigation. And now a timeline. She really wants you to focus on the timeline. Like, she had it up the whole time, you know, between reading the teleprompter and reading the timeline. Then she introduced a new tip. But again, she provided no evidence, although she says she has the evidence. She has the receipts. Remember the whole Kanye debacle? He tweeted, I'm not affiliated with Blexit. I'm distancing myself. They're using me as a pawn in their scheme, whatever. Well, that really upset her. And the new tip that she got, that person is telling Candace that people in Erica's family were pressuring Kanye. Candace knew not of this information when it happened. And she is heck bent on solving that. She said,
I will be figuring this out. Come heck or high water. I'll be figuring this out. I'm going to get in touch with Ye.
She sounds so stupid. It's embarrassing at this point. She's embarrassing. She said that was really hard on her because it made her look like a liar, right? Because she said that Kanye designed the Blexit logo. He said, no, I didn't. I put her in touch with some designers or whatever. It's so stupid. Like,
right,
for a person who says she doesn't care about fame or famous friends, right? Like, she's so
hung up
possessive of Mr. Ye. Right? When somebody said Erica knew Kanye, she's like,
Erica didn't know Kanye. She never knew Kanye. What are you talking about? Shut up. I will kick you in the face.
So she got real quiet with her scary voice, talking about how she was going to figure that out. She's going to figure it out. She said that she doesn't like what's happening in Arizona. To Arizona on her timeline.
Okay, let me do this right quick. Shout out to Mira. Y'all, we got some photos. Hold on a second. We'll get back to that. Hold on. I just wanted to show these photos because I did ask, about the proof. Y'all go. Piers Morgan with Ghislaine Maxwell. So that boy wasn't lying. Now, whether he did something nefarious is one thing, but him being there, he was around Jeffrey Epstein. Not sure if he was on the island. But their photo, there's two more. Hold on. No, why I won't show all the photos at one time? It's crazy to me. Let me show this one. There you go. So you got Piers, this woman, and this Andrew. Where's Epstein? That's Andrew Weinstein. That's not Jeffrey Epstein. But he's standing next to Ghislaine Maxwell. Who's this guy in the black and white photo? Ooh, he look young. That must be back in the 80s. Good grief. Hold on. Let me go to the last one. Hey, go get it. How you doing? Y'all, this is something else, ain't it? Piers, you got some explaining to do. It's crazy. So he's photographed these photographs of him with just Lane Maxwell. But I wouldn't want to be around her little evil ass unless, like I said, unless they're not on the island. And he went there earlier in the day and had no idea what they do at night. But, you know, I feel like a lot of these people are culprits because they knew something was going on wrong. Just like people in P. Diddy's inner circle and in his orbit. They knew what he was doing at those parties and they chose not to say anything. Not to the point where they have to go to court and hold him accountable. So I think it's the same thing with Jeffrey Epstein. Too many people knew what he was doing and they chose not to say anything because of reasons. And then now that he's dead and gone, after having been charged, convicted, found guilty, and with the prison, now all of a sudden, oh, I don't know who's Jeffrey Epstein? You said Ghislaine or what now? What you call me? Her name is who? Ghislaine Maxwell. The coffee house, you know, Maxwell, the coffee house. Like these people are acting that dumb. You say Maxwell, they're like coffee house. Maxwell coffee house. Who is this woman Harpo? Who this woman Harpo? Ghislaine. That's a weird name. That might not even be a human name. Now they're trying to put distance and play dumb. It's like, here's all he had to say was, you know what? I took a couple photos with Ghislaine, but that wasn't because I did something wrong. And then that would have been solved. Like, I mean, at the very least, there would have been some level of defense. Walking away does not help. At the very least, you know, I only went to these parties and events and they were not on the island. And I had no idea what he was doing after that. But, you know, in order for him to say that with a blessed assurance, he has to be telling the truth. And like I said, I think many of these people knew what was going on and they just didn't say anything. And now it's like they're being caught and they don't know what to do.
Nothing good happens in Arizona. What's happening with Arizona? It's a mystery. It's a mystery. Okay. This is her grandfather. I would like for you to look at the listed on his obituary. What was Pappy doing in Arizona, Candace?
Wow.
I think that is suspicious. Let's jump in to this Mikey Knowles video. You know, the next live stream that me and Bestie do, which, by the way, I love my bestie. Now, sometimes friends come to you later in life, and she's just the sweetest, most compassionate, most beautiful woman I've ever known. Let's see, try to find a turquoise heart because she likes that color and put it in the chat. Put it in the comments for Miss Jackie. I love her. Jackie, I love you.
Obviously, listen, I think that there's a purpose to calling out evil where it occurs because calling out evil where it occurs is a good thing to do on a moral level. And so if Candace Owens decides to slander the widow of Charlie Kirk, I think that people have a moral duty to say that this is a bad thing, even if they are quote unquote friends with those people. And I find
but let's take that further. So obviously one should state one's view and say, you know, Erica's great and the attacks on her are not right.
Michael, I'll just ask you straight up. Is Candace Owens doing something evil by attacking Erica Kirk?
I think that it's wrong to attack Erica Kirk.
Well, no, say the sentence with her name in it.
I'm not going to dance.
I know you won't.
For the podcast.
You don't have to dance like a puppet, but you are dancing pretty quickly. I mean, there's a lot of tap dancing here.
Even if you aren't interested in the podcast, where's the podcast?
And I think the people who are leading invective against Candace are her biggest publicists, and I hope
leading the invective against Candace. I mean, this I take a little bit of umbrage at. I don't feel that it's invective to say that what she is doing to Erica Kirk is totally demonic.
No, that is invective. It could be justified invective, but it's certainly invective. My point is,
okay, listen, bros. If we did not use the big words,
injective. Did it say injective? You mean objective? What is he trying? It's subjective. If it's based on your opinion, it's subjective. If it's based on facts and evidence, that's being objective. Because you're not putting in any feelings or emotions or, you know, any of your personal thoughts into it. You're just being completely objective, neutral, impartial, and based on it, facts. Subjective involves your opinion, your thoughts, and feelings. But those are two different words with two different definitions. What the hell is he saying? Is he saying invective?
My point is...
Okay, listen, bro.
You don't have to dance like a puppet, but you are dancing pretty quickly. I mean, there's a lot of tap dancing.
No, I don't think there's any tap dancing. Made that totally clear.
Even if you aren't interested in the podcast, where's the podcast?
And I think the people who are leading the invective against Candace are her biggest publicists. And I hope
leading the invective against Candace. I mean, this I take a little bit of umbrage at. I don't feel that it's invective to say that what she is doing to Erica Kirk is totally demonic.
No, that is invective. It could be justified invective, but it's certainly invective. My point is,
okay.
Is it trying to say objective? What? What did he say? Invective? This dude is an idiot. Who is Michael Knowles? Because it seems like, you got idiots like him coming out trying to really soundbite off of this to get some attention. Because history will not look kindly to these morons and cult members that are just sitting here parroting her talking points. And when you ask them to say words with 3 syllables, they fail to do that. What the hell is invective?
Bros, if we could not use big words. Thursday, this wig is tight on my head. I got these wig shop contacts in. What the heck is invective? Let's look it up. Harsh, abusive, or highly critical language used to express deep-seated ill will, blame, or censure. It is a form of vehement verbal attack intended.
Michael Knowles is the godfather to Candace's daughter. Am I reading that right? He doesn't even have to be involved. That's like George's dad coming out the woodwork saying something to support her out of nowhere. Is it necessary? She already has a cult. They believe everything she says. You don't need other people to co-sign on the bullshit. He just came out of nowhere. You can't make this up. Out of nowhere. So he's trying to get some attention. Godfather of COS kids. Oh, Lord have mercy. Did she mention Dana? I don't know. I skipped a little bit of the beginning. Oh, she did? Okay. I see what you're saying. Okay. If she did, and I didn't catch it, but I skipped some of the beginning because she was going into her hair and stuff like that. That was when she was saying she was giving a couple. Now I heard Jay Witt, and I'm like, why get added to this list? Schulte, Artie Troll, Bronson. Oh yeah, she did. There it is in the caption. Don't talk about Artie. Yeah, no, he's so funny. Artie Trolls. Y'all see all the names here. Tall something. Tall the Traveling Clat. Bronson. Shady Lady Katie. Lisa knows. I see Bronson. Paramount Tactical. Yeah. Cinnamon Shogun. He's good though. I like Cinnamon Shogun. Okay, let's get back to it, y'all.
Calling people out and calling people names, I think it's a bad thing. But I'm not against calling. No.
To agree to. I don't know what the protocol is for not being somebody's godparent anymore. You have to fill out a form.
When's the last time you used the term invective to talk about justified invective? Give me a break.
No, of course. The 3 most famous speeches in Dante are the invectives, and they're totally justified. Invective can be a good thing. My point is just that.
That would be awesome.
What is the goal of that? Is the goal to make oneself feel really morally good, to puff oneself up to one's friends and fans, or is the goal to try to reduce, the popularity of some show? Because if it's the latter, it's not working.
No. It's just about stating principles. That's what we're here for. That's our job.
One can easily do that without focusing all of this attention.
We actually cash checks because we state our principles, and this is a real question. This is not. I'm totally against calling people out and calling people names. I think it's a bad thing, but I'm not against calling out evil. I mean, Ben's right. This is the basic. It's the basic.
No one disagrees
bottom line.
No
yes, but you don't do it. And I think. I've
made my view on the Erica Kirk thing completely clear.
Yeah, but I mean, look, Tucker Carlson is sitting around saying that American soldiers, implying that American soldiers want to rape Iranian women, and that's what Donald Trump meant by
unconditional surrender.
Unconditional surrender. I mean, that's a disgusting thing to say. American soldiers have been the best behaved soldiers on earth in human history, and I just think it's when people say that stuff, something's wrong with them. Something's going wrong with these people, and it's not.
But why would we publicize it? I guess it's my question.
Because we have the right to. Stop. We have the right to. Just like she's lying like hell and making money from it, we have the right to put our foot on her neck and correct her when she's wrong, to debunk her on every level. And God is still sitting on the throne, and the earth will continue to revolve around the sun. Candace, you have no power on anyone else's platform to dictate what they publicize. Whoever your little dinky ass godfather, children's godfather is, he needs to have several seats and shut up. The hell is wrong with him? You don't get to interfere with free speech, free expression, and freedom of the press. Michael Knowles. What a clown. He's a clown. You don't get to sit here and say you don't have the right to publicize. Why do we have to do that? Because it's called freedom of the press. This has been going on for centuries in this country. Where the hell he been? Free press has been happening for over 400 years. You know, the British said the same thing. Why do these Americans keep calling our king an idiot, saying they're not paying our taxes? It's called independence. You mean? I can't stand that when people try to trample on constitutional rights.
You said they're tremendously popular, but the thing about it is, like, if you take someone like Candace, I believe Candace is popular with people who no longer matter. You know, anybody who's taking what she says seriously on any level is already lost to the light, as far as I'm concerned. Tucker's a little smarter, although he's starting to go, you know, when you get infested by demons, after a while, you're crab walking across the ceiling, cursing at the priest. You know, I mean, that's what happens. That's the trajectory of that. But I mean, at some point, you know, you stand for something and you don't stand for anything.
Right, but no one is. I think that's a false dichotomy. Basically, I think we're saying, well, you need to state your principles.
That dichotomy has been around, you know, amongst humankind for longer than your ass have walked this earth, boy. If you stand for nothing, you will fall for anything. You're talking about a euphemism that's based on wisdom and living life and just gaining knowledge and understanding, going through life experiences. If you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. He's saying this a flawed dichotomy. It's a flawed concept dichotomy. He keeps using big words he doesn't understand himself. I keep telling you all, this doesn't shock me to hear this behavior. Candace is a narcissist. She has to be the smartest person in the room. That means everyone else in her orbit, in her cult, amongst her friends, amongst her family, all have to be dumber than her. And then they're too afraid to call her ass out. Candace, I could care less how you feel. And despite some random woman running around here saying that, you know, you should be paying my rent, you don't. That's the reality of the situation. Neither does Michael Knowles. You can't make this up. So Michael Knowles is dumber than Candace because he chose to be in her inner circle and be the kid's godfather.
What you believe. Yeah, sure. We all agree on that. The only question that I have is, should the podcasters be spending all of their time talking about each other in these meta-political fights and promoting each other's clips, for goodness sake?
Okay, so first of all of their time is a wild exaggeration as far as I am concerned. Because
what do you think social media is for if it's not to make content and have people watch it? I don't think I've never said Candace should stop doing something. I'm saying whatever she's doing, there's a consequence for it. She should definitely be sued. Keep on talking, Candace. I want you to go to court and show up and show out like the jackass that you are. I want you to show your ass in court so they can
last I checked, what actually happened is that I made one speech at TPUSA and then said literally nothing for months about any of these people.
And they're attacking you. I'm not. It's not just you. I'm not even saying you're leading it. I'm really not.
The only point that I'm making here is that if these people do have a great level of popularity, which they do, and they are saying things that are bad, which they are, calling out the bad things that famous people are saying and doing is actually the thing that we do for a living. And we do it for politicians. Right. Michael, you do it for commentators on the left. We play clips of these people all day long on our shows. When those people are, quote unquote, purportedly on our side, and some of them are in the ear of the vice president of the United States, then it sometimes becomes a little important to actually call that out. And that is the thing that I think is, now listen, you can do whatever you want. Obviously, it's a free country, and you're well within the Overton window in your opinions, as far as I am concerned, even if we disagree about your approach to these particular personalities. I mean, many of our hosts have appeared and continue to appear on the shows of the very people that we are talking about, and at no point have I or anybody at the Daily Wire said that they should not do that. So, you know, that is sort of beside the point as to what we're arguing here. The only point that I'm making is that if what the commentary business is about is speaking to the audience, meaning a large audience of people who are making up their minds as to who they ought to listen to and the kind of ideas they ought to consider good and bad, then yes, it is worthwhile to say it is not worth your time to listen to people who argue that, for example, the Khazarian Jews are responsible for the breakout of World War III, or that they're digging tunnels across America like rats, or that the Israelis worship Baal. If people like that have millions of viewers, and that viewership has crossover with a movement that I've grown my entire life trying to build, and their numbers are going up, then I think that it's a good thing to say, hey, guys, you probably shouldn't watch this. And then
can I jump in here for a second? I just want to make something clear. Michael, I think that a lot of us feel like if you don't speak up and point these things out, you are effectively abandoning the field. You're basically treating it the way that a lot of Republicans used to treat an issue like abortion, where they just didn't want to talk about it. So what would happen? What would happen is the Democrat would entirely talk about it. They would define the terms. They would determine what the debate was about.
I can't listen to that guy talk. Not that he did anything wrong. And I do appreciate the American flag. I don't know him. I think we got the gist of it, right? First of all, I love Ben Shapiro. I love that man. Okay, he's on my prayer list. Michael he wanted to say, I'm not going to dance, I'm not going to tap dance, or whatever that stupid thing was that he said. Ben's not dancing. Ben doesn't dance around things. He will call it right out. Are you willing to call out evil? Are you willing to say that Candace is evil? And Michael was the one tap dancing around it. I think that the attacks against Erica are wrong. No. Because who's leading the attack? That is your girl, Candy. And if you think that those attacks are evil, Michael, then you should be able to say, this is evil, Candace.
Exactly.
Please stop. I would imagine they have a close relationship if he's the godparent to one of her children. If her children even exist. I mean, I still don't believe that they exist. Where are they? We don't care about them. You said a hit was put out on your life and you went to Dollywood with your children. I'm sorry, if multiple countries had a hit out on my life, I wouldn't take my babies to a theme park.
I know, right?
So,
thank you.
I need to yell at him.
Where's Sloppy Joe Ken again? That was the one person Candace trusted that worked with the FBI and CIA. Candace, you could have had 2 government agencies look into your so-called claims that someone is trying to unalive you in France and in Israel. And the CIA would be a great agency to help look into that because they're the central intelligence agency. What they do is gather intelligence from all over the world, primarily making sure that we utilize that information to help improve whatever's going on in our country. But they work with other intelligence agencies across the world, across the globe, in different countries. So you would think that you would have wanted Sloppy Joe Kent to look into your allegations that someone is trying to unalive you. You think you would file a formal complaint online, but you didn't. And that can be evidenced by the absence of these complaints. But yet you wanted Sloppy Joe Kent to take time to look at some bullshit from Mitch Snow, who proclaims to be the son of the Zodiac murder. Why? So Zodiac Merc had a child. Mitch Snow is it. You don't want to dive into that at all. But yet you want Sloppy Joe Kent to look at all his bullshit nonsense. And then for what to happen again, other than that GoFundMe, Save Go Me Now, whatever? You're willing to let this man raise $250,000 and walk away with all this money, having done nothing but run his mouth on your dumbass show. You can't make this up. So if he gets 250 grand, please understand, I could give a damn about what you think about me getting $144,000 from Israel. When the hell they gonna give me the money? It's the question. That does not work over here on me in the LLC. I could care less about any allegation of that. These same cult members don't want to leave a cash app or a super chat, but yet they want me to get $7 grand so bad from Israel. They come up and just believe any old thing. They just, whatever she says, they just do it and go with it. So I'm not shocked. This is proof that Candace in her world has to be the smartest person in the room. And all she has is a bunch of simps and yes men and gullible ass cat ladies that believe and hang on to every word she says. And they fail to read a book. But then they get mad when you call them idiots.
In my head, and it's starting to itch, so I'm going to wrap this up. Michael, you make absolutely no sense. What Ben said is true. You do this for a living. You call people out for a living. Remember, after Charlie was massacred in such an evil, grotesque way, and people were celebrating and making awful videos, mocking the way that he died, mocking the way that he was brutalized. And I liked that side of Michael. I tuned in for everything he had to say. It's like, these people are not fit for a polite society, and they need to be shunned from polite society. What changed, brother? Because this woman is not fit for polite society. She's dangerous. She's hateful. She seeks to destroy. She's like Satan. The enemy comes to steal, kill, destroy. Candace is here to steal, kill, and destroy. That is her mission. You see that. Your refusal to admit that and call that out is very telling of your character. Like my Jackie, she would never do this because she's normal. Went on a warpath and was attacking Widow, and she had a huge platform. So it would be difficult to call her out, but I would do it because I love her. First of all, I would want to stop her from making a fool of herself, which is Candace is just making a fool of herself. She's making a fool of her husband. Now, I know he's back there directing everything. His hand is in all of that, but it's still really embarrassing. When David and I were first together, oh my gosh, I just remember how dumb I was at 23 and how I thought I knew everything. And my smart mouth, I must have embarrassed that man so many times. But you grow out of that. This is like a 37-year-old woman flying off the handle, mispronouncing every word, making a fool of herself and her husband. Listen, I always tell David, you represent me. I represent you. Please don't leave this. Don't leave the house in 3 different shades of blue. That man likes to wear the different shades of the same color. One time I wasn't here when he left and I arrived home, and then he arrived home and I was bewildered at what I saw. No. I didn't even know there could be different shades of white. A crisp, clean white t-shirt, brand new. But then his shorts were like, is there even a neon white? You could see them. Helen Keller could have seen these shorts. His shoes were his work shoes. Therefore, they were dingy white. It's a representation of me. And people who saw him in this outfit, I told him, they think you have a wife that doesn't like you. Which is so far from the truth. I love that man. Anyway, you're embarrassing your family. Anyway. So I would intervene with my Jackie if she were behaving like a lunatic. 1, because I didn't want her to embarrass herself. 2, because she's also embarrassing me. 3 should be number 1, because the main thing is you don't want to be evil. I'd have come to Jesus meeting, a round table, pull in everybody. I'd pull in all of the loved ones. We'd have our list of scriptures to go over. Then we'd present the scriptures to her. And we'd pray. That's so that's the main thing. Making God sad.
You made God sad today, Mom.
Oh, no. You're. Oh, God. I hope I don't get copyrighted with that. Even if it's 6 seconds.
Actually, take her out. Then that's on you, because George is just going to leave. So you're in a pickle, Mikey. But I'm so sorry. Scripture says anyone who loves their son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. So, Michael, you have to love the Lord more than you love Candace, more than you love your responsibilities as a godparent, because what she's doing is completely in violation of Scripture. And you purport to be a Christian. Though you practice Catholicism and you pray to saints, you do all this and that, you still claim to know the Lord and to know Scripture. So you have a responsibility. And you are to love the Lord more than you love anyone. I love the Lord more than I love David, more than I love Jackie, more than I love makeup, wigs, more than I love my puppies, more than I love my nephews. I love the Lord. And I expect all of them to love the Lord more than they love me. So, Michael, this is a failure on you. It is very telling of your character, and it makes you look like a hypocrite, because you were all high and mighty to condemn everyone who was acting a fool after Charlie died. They were a disgrace and that they weren't fit for polite society. I agree with you. Again, I was there for that, Michael. Michael's funny, he's funny, kind of goofy, but then you hear him talk with his chest, and you start looking at him differently.
With his chest.
Okay, he's a man. Don't be coming up over here with that nonsense. You're not fit for polite society. That would sting me. Oh, I'm not here for this, Michael, though. You're even more of a hypocrite because this is what you do for a living. You call what again, Ben said you do this for you would call out any other person for this.
I know narcissists don't care about hypocrisy. They don't. They don't care about hypocrisy at all. All right, I just wanted to get to this last video on X. Cinema Shogun put this up before I go live on Umar in a few minutes. But shout out to Edie Lowe. You guys make sure you go check her out and support her channel as well. I just want to get this in right quick because we have a lot more we need to get through. But here, this right here is golden. I'm going to make sure you all can see this. This is absolutely golden. It's the zenith of hypocrisy. And all of a sudden, Candace is still trying to play dumb when it comes to Mitch Snow. So Cinema posted this up, said, this is amazing. Candace Owens is upset that people are linking her to Joe Kent. She claims that she doesn't know where the accusations about Joe Kent leaking her information are coming from. It's coming from logical deduction. You said you had an insider in the FBI. Then you bring on this clown, Mitch Snow. All your fault, Candace. Then something happens with Sloppy Joe Kent. He ends up resigning. And you've already had a litany of episodes saying, I got this information from my source. And, you know, this is after you said you got insiders with the FBI. Now Sloppy Joe Kent's under investigation. And one of the things they're looking into is what he's leaking. And somehow, talking points you have parallels the same things he says. People have the right to make some logical deduction here. That's how you connect the dots and put two and two together. Not just coming up with some bullshit about Egyptian planes and then you trying to force it to fit some storyline that is going to land at an airport near Joshua Carr's house somewhere close by. And you're sitting here like, how is that even possible? But yet the transponders were cut off. You just throw dumb shit out there in the wind and you want people to just, you expect everybody to just accept it. No, only your cult members who are dumber than you. Period. They have to be that dumb to believe that with no evidence at all. How would Candace know a transponder is cut off again? Because she never showed any flight data of it actually being confirmed that it was a transponder being cut off. Because let's not forget, the person in her ear, she never said he was a pilot. That he knows how to interpret data from the black box, whether it be from the CVR or the FDR. He could have just did a quick Google search and said anything. Go figure. People lie like hell. And sometimes they go out of their way to lie. So now all of a sudden, she's mad. I don't know where this is coming from, everybody. She even says that the people claiming she's linked to Joe Kent are just crazy and angry. I guess she didn't get the memo, but her own fake whistleblower, Miss Snow, is the person who linked her to Joe Kent. Candace, who the hell are you mad at? You moron.
Trying to link Candace and Joe. Yeah, I didn't know what it was about. They were all over this. I'm like, guys, drop the receipts. I never got trying to link Candace and Joe. Yeah, I didn't know what it was about. They were.
Candace, you asking for receipts. We all know you don't know what that is. You cannot define the word evidence because evidence includes the letter N, to which you still get confused with the number 9. Let me show y'all how Candace reads the word evidence. Hold on. That's how she evidence. That's it. That's how she spells the word evidence. If you don't know the difference between the letter N and the number 9, then you have to assume that every word she's ever spelled, if it includes the letter N, Just replace it with the number 9. I guarantee you it would highlight the zenith of her stupidity. And you definitely get a good laugh out of it. So any word that she says or spells with the letter N, swap it out for the number 9. Because she doesn't know the difference. So when you don't know the difference between letters and numbers because you're an idiot, then no one expects you to know the definition of those words either. Because this word as it's spelled is not in the dictionary. There's no definition for the way this word is spelled. So as long as she continues to transpose numbers to letters and vice versa, we got a long way to go. She will never define that damn term to begin with because she can't even spell it. See, sorry. Connivance. Oh, connivance. Y'all. Now we got to spell her name with the number 9 as opposed to the letter N. Connivance. Let me tell you something. We here for it all day. We're going to just laugh at your ass to Kingdom Come. She all of a sudden forgets that, once again, Mitch Snow is a thing. The last time he came up, she was like, well, you all are the ones that's keeping this story going. No, we are keeping it going because you're lying about someone saying that they spotted somebody on a military base. And something Egyptian planes, blah, 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 dumb shit. You can't make this up. And she wants to get mad because people are holding her to the fire. Candace, I hope the FBI investigation of Sloppy Joe Kent leads right back to your ass.
Trying to link Candace and Joe. Yeah, I didn't know what it was about. They were all over this. I'm like, guys, drop the receipts. I never got classified information from Joe Kent. Like I said.
Here's the receipt.
I know Candace said you were vetted. Who vetted you?
Oh, geez. Yeah. I let that slip once and maybe I wasn't supposed to, but yeah, it was Joe Kent.
Candace, what did he say? Candace, listen closer.
I let that slip once and maybe I wasn't supposed to, but yeah, it was Joe Kent.
Yeah, Candace, what did he say?
Yeah, it was Joe Kent.
Candace, did you catch that?
Yeah, it was Joe Kent.
Yeah, okay, so you got receipts, heifer. You dumb heifer. Receipts. Mitch Snow said that Joe Kent vetted him. You said he was vetted.
Kent, like I said.
I know Candace said you were vetted. Who vetted you?
Candace said you were vetted. So there's your linkage right there, Candace. You said he was vetted. He's going to say who vetted him. You can't say, I didn't know Joe Kent vetted him, because wouldn't you just say that if that be the case? Wouldn't she just say, I didn't know Joe Kent vetted this clown? He never told me that. Here are emails where I kept asking and he never gave me an answer. She wouldn't even be able to disprove him wrong. That's the goal of Candace. Let me say vague and ambiguous dumb shit and leave everyone confused. And then make it to where it will be hard for someone to debunk me. You think if it came down to it, Mitch Snow would just completely kick Candace under the bus? Because then he wouldn't get that money. He go out and say anything that Candace doesn't like. He's not getting that money, that $144,000 that all the candy asses gave to him as opposed to paying their bills. Candace, you have not matched that money at all, girl. You won't even give refunds to tickets to people in Australia. So you all know she's not trying to match dollar for dollar you all's contributions. To the candy ass cult members, congratulations, you're even dumber than you already were from yesterday. You financially sponsored this clown. And now he's sitting here saying Joe Kent vetted him. And what does your cult leader say? Y'all drop the receipts. Where y'all getting that from? As opposed to her saying naturally now, well, I didn't know he was vetted by Joe Kent. I asked him. He didn't tell me. So this is news to me. You think she would go there if she's going to play it off? No. Because then he would have to prove that she was aware that he was vetted by Joe Kent. Then it would be for her to prove that, or for him to prove that there was any proof that Candace knew Mitch Snow was being vetted by sloppy Joe Kent. Mitch Snow was the one that said, you trust him. You trust Joe Kent. Now, all of a sudden, these two people aren't real things, I guess, on Earth.
I know Candace said you were vetted. Who vetted
Candace.
you?
Oh, geez. Yeah.
I'm rubbing it in.
You know, I let that slip once, and maybe I wasn't supposed to, but yeah, it was Joe Kent.
Trying to link Candace and Joe.
Yeah, Candace, you knew about this linkage. You knew about this. You knew that sloppy Joe Kent vetted this so-called Miss Snow. Whatever that means or implies is up to Joe Kent to validate and prove. We're going based on what Miss Snow said. You got mad the last time we all called his ass a pathological liar. Now people are like, okay, let's say this is true. And you're like, I can't believe you all are listening to that. Make up your damn mind, helper. Now she mad at us for actually listening. Hey, y'all. The candy ass cult members are going to go in on him. I'm telling you, they're coming for Miss Snow with a vengeance. Oh, my goodness. You can't make this stuff up. Candace is one that connected Joe Kent, Miss Snow. Exactly. Candace was using Joe Kent to verify Mina's background at the same time as Gary and Nate were using it to show Mitch Snow was lying about his job title. Child, Mitch Snow lied about a lot of stuff. Sloppy Joe. I got something for ya. Got something for you, Sloppy Joe. Because you out here playing around in people's faces because your cult leader is an idiot. Y'all say hello to Sloppy Joe. Sloppy Joe, why the hell didn't you investigate these so-called dumbass allegations from Candace again? Can you explain that to us? Sloppy Joe, I have so many questions. He wouldn't be able to survive over here. He would have to actually pause and think about my questions. You know, you are you scared of Candace and her cult members? Because you might want to start being scared of them. Because they're going to get in your ass about you not looking into her allegations that French President Emmanuel Macron and an Israeli operative and some other lady somehow tried to unalive her and you did nothing. How dare you ghost our cult leader? The audacity, the unmitigated gall. You didn't investigate her allegations that she was scared for her life. Yeah, she went to Dollywood, whatever. We heard it shut down anyway. It wasn't even that good. The candy asses are going to twist this whole thing up to keep themselves from looking even dumber. Because Mitch Snow is someone that they sponsored. There's over $140,000 sitting in a Save Go Now social media crowdfunding for Mitch Snow because of Candace Amber Rose Owens Farmer. Candy asses, you all ought to feel this big about yourselves right now. Yeah, you should feel that big. That big. Right there is where I leave you. This right here is where I mean, when I say I'm leaving the candy asses right here, I'm going to squeeze you down to this and then just leave you right there. There you go. Almost touching, but not there. Just a tip. Candy asses had this coming. Oh, shout out to No Reply, y'all. Oh, good grief. Shout out to No Reply. Woo, child. Y'all, S-Files and No Reply. They'll send me an AI photo in a minute. This is priceless. Sloppy Joe. Yeah, you're already under FBI investigation. You resigned from your job for some reason, because you're an idiot. If you vetted Mitch Snow, why don't you just prove with documentation how you vetted his ass? Because he's already put it out there. And if Candace wakes up tomorrow and she's mad at Mitch Snow, guess what, Mitch Snow? That $144,000 sitting in that GoFundMe, you're not getting it. And then you're going to piss off all the cult members and they're going to come for you, which they should have done a long time ago. See, this is what happens to the candy ass cult members. You people are so stupid that you believe everything that Mitch Snow said with no evidence. And now he's linking his so-called vetting process to Joe Kent, which connects him to Candace Owens. And all of a sudden, your cult leader has no idea that fat means greasy. Now she's shocked and in awe and appalled. How dare you? Where did you all get that from? No, you damn didn't. I am just furious. And she brought his ass on her show. That's all I got, y'all. Listen here. This has been awesome. Thank you all so much to meet me outside. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. I appreciate all of you all. Thank you all for the supers. Hit the like button. We're going to be back at it again tomorrow. And of course, Thursday, we're going to be focused in on some more of the videos for Candace that you all have been sending over. We got to get caught up on that. We got some investigations to check out. Tamira and Culture Proof. We got a lot of stuff lined up. So you guys get rested up. I have another live after this I'm going to do on Umar. So if you can't tune into that, tune into it. If not, I will see you all in the next one. Have a good evening. And until then, Lady Luck Club out.